Let's see. There we go. Nice. All right, I think we are officially live. Welcome. I'm getting myself a little situated here. We'll see if anybody joins. I didn't make any announcements for this one, but I am playing some music. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. But let's see how it goes. We're already 35 minutes into the stream, and I think what we're gonna do is play some Eurofront. That's the game plan. Um, I don't know how my screen actually looks, but I have the game open here. Slightly different setup than what I've had before. I probably should also open up the rule books too. Let's do that real quick. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a live stream for a while. I think it'd be more fun, more interesting if like you guys got to see exactly what it is I'm doing in the moment. So my camera setup is a little different, but the game should be visible. I hope it is. And I got the chat box open here so I can see anyone who joins. I'll see y'all's chats. Let's see here. For some reason, I can't see the full chat. Oh, there you go. All right, this pop-up is not great because I just want a small window. And it looks like I need a minimum size. Oh, no, too big. There we go. That should do. Like that. And I got the rule book here, little too small in my opinion. Should work fine. Anyways, welcome to, let me see, how do I look in the actual, how do I look? Do I look good? Good hair. Yeah, I look pretty good. All right, so we're gonna jump in. Welcome. We are continuing our game. 1942. A lot is happening for sure. If you saw my last video, thank you for your comments. I appreciate the comments. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. I'm enjoying playing it. It's pretty good. It's a good way to pass the time. But here we are on the Eastern Front. The Germans have the strategic initiative. I'm going to switch to a person perspective here. Just want to see like the perspective from like a neutral perspective, so we don't see who's what. Try to get a sense of like the front line on the map. This game doesn't do that 100% ideally because right now the Soviet situation is kind of odd. I think I'm gonna stop playing the music altogether just so that I can like hear myself think. But basically, I was trying to play some music, but too distracting for a game like this. But I mean, the biggest takeaway I have right now on this game is that the Soviets have failed to stabilize the front. And I really don't know how common that is for like the war from strategically. Like, I don't really know how frequently that was a problem for the Soviet Union. I believe in 1941 that was a notable problem following the Battle of Kiev, in which like 600,000 soldiers were either captured or defeated, effectively killed, captured, wounded. The entire southern flank of the Eastern Front was basically wide open, from what I understand. But for whatever reason, the Germans were not fully able to exploit that as well as you would expect. I think they did gain a lot of territory. I know that they were able to take Kursk. They took Kharkov. They kept pushing. I think the Soviets began to concentrate their resources around this sort of like corner of this peninsula around Rostov. And that was like the main defense. Rostov, strategically important city, not a very large city, I don't think, but strategically important in the sense that it is the kind of like gateway or the bottleneck to the entire Caucasus. Right. So that would happen more in 1942 compared to 1941. You can see the maps, and the German forces would eventually push forward and make their way as far as Stalingrad. And I believe they were attacking possibly Grozny. They did not successfully bypass this Caucasus mountain range. I think they took a few positions in the mountains, Operation Edelweiss, but they did not reach Batumi. So they failed to make the Black Sea this Axis lake effectively, but they did take Crimea. They took Sevastopol, and Turkey was neutral at the time, and it was very possible that Turkey could have joined the Axis. It could have gone either way, but Turkey was trying to stay neutral. But point is, they could have established some kind of Axis lake here in the Black Sea, and they didn't. But my main point here is that, like, if you look at the map right now, the Soviets do not have a stable front line, and that's the problem I have in this game. I believe is possibly because the Soviet units are a bit too large for scale. The reality was that the Soviet structure was very complex, and it was comprised of many different subunits. And the Soviet subunits were typically smaller than the standard German or Western counterparts. In the West, Western Europe, you basically have like divisions, corps, um, armies, right? And kind of in that order. And then it kind of breaks down from there. You got regiments, you've got battalions, and so on and so forth, companies, all the way until you eventually get down to the squad level. But as far as the Soviets, their structure was similar on paper, but the scaling of the units was remarkably different. In fact, pretty much everything is scaled down by like a degree of one, often because a lot of Soviet formations were either undersupplied or they were fighting combat for a long period of time and they were under strength. This happened frequently, and it would take time for the Red Army to rebuild up their forces. I mean, this is true for all formations, but the Red Army, I know the Red Army notably had this kind of feature built into their army, into their Red Army, where like a lot of subunits were very under strength for extended periods of times, depending on how long the Soviet operations took place. And so I think the Soviet kind of philosophy of war was that as long as we have many units, doesn't really matter the fighting strength of our units. As long as we have a large volume of them, we're going to find ways to defeat our enemy. And I think the Soviets, went through a lot of adaptation, but like by 1944, even they had just an abundance of equipment, abundance of like weaponry, and plus the numbers. And this allowed them to basically break down the Wehrmacht. But yeah, Soviet like rifle divisions are like the size of German battalions. Rifle corps are the size of German or American divisions or British or French. So about 15 to 20,000 troops would be the size of a corps, and then eventually get to the armies, which are technically smaller than their German and Western counterparts. But the Soviets had a larger abundance of armies. And so in this game, about three corps, three squares is the equivalent of a German army or a Wehrmacht army. For the Soviets, it's basically just one unit or not. I know that army units were also supported by like a number of like specialized corps, mechanized corps, armored corps, things of that nature. And those units are also represented as squares in the game. My main point is that right now, the Soviet forces seem to have a scarcity of combat units, and we do not have a established front line compared to what the Germans have. I mean, if you look at the German side right now, starting with Rostov and you make your way up, you can see there's about one unit, roughly on average, 1 unit per square, this area now, but about 1 unit per square for the entire German front line, right? All the way through Tula, making our way near Moscow, and we keep going all the way north. Eventually, we make our way up to Leningrad and Volkov. Basically, Germans, the Axis, have established a front line everywhere. But at the Soviets, on the other hand, I mean, there has been some recent German breakthroughs, so that the front has destabilized. But at this present moment in August 1942, the Soviets don't have a stable front line. I mean, I've been building up Soviet cadre units at Stalingrad, at Saratov, kind of like these hubs where the cadre being recruited, rebuilt, organized, and basically, they're not ready to deploy yet. I think they're at level one, maybe at level two. They're not ready to really deploy. They're not at full strength, right? So I'm kind of hesitant to send them off to the front line if they're just going to face a powerful German force that can defeat them. And the Germans have this ability to concentrate their firepower, and they seem to be relatively organized with their HQs. So my main point is, front line is totally destabilized, at least in the southern sector, right? We saw some pretty awesome in what was previously the front line, extending from like Orel all the way down to say Vorschilowgrad, and the Germans have broken through basically. And right now we can kind of see the aftermath of that breakthrough. But what I'm noticing is that a lot of the main Soviet formations are not really at the front lines. We're building up Soviet reserves right now, rebuilding up the casualties that they sustained. But I'm not really seeing a strong front line for the Red Army except around Moscow. Moscow is really, and I guess in the north here, it's a bit of a stalemate there. The Germans haven't pushed through the swamps, but the main Soviet defense right now at the front line is around Moscow. So what we can do is there's a cool feature here where there's these blocks basically. I guess it's under markers or extras. I think it's under markers, and we can add these blocks that kind of represent at least the presence of enemy forces. I did this in the invasion of Poland, basically, but I kind of want to do it right now just to show exactly where the front line really is. And presumably, all these other formations, all these other positions rather, are being contested by reconnaissance units. Is what I would basically understand it to be. These are reconnaissance units, basically troops on motorcycles, or maybe, yeah, basically troops on motorcycles. There's not really a large presence of actual ground units necessarily. But I kind of just want to see like what the front line actually looks like, and I'm going to do it for both sides, and just kind of show you where the front line actually looks. Because there is zone of control in this game, and units do kind of express some kind of zone of control, and so I kind of want to show what that zone of control basically looks like at the moment. And I think with that, that's it. So what I've done is I've updated the territory, and I just pretty much added a few extra blocks from both sides. This is really what the front line really looks like. It's a bit confusing, partly because you got, German units in the rear, a lot of German rearguard units at the moment, right, as part of this expansion. But I do like this idea that we can visibly see the front line at any given instant. And you can see that the Germans have expanded pretty deep. They did not cross the Don River, and they didn't push their way to Stalingrad. Instead, they've decided to push east, directly east. And they've actually gained a lot of territory in the process. I mean, we've encircled Voronezh. All right, Voronezh is going to fall inevitably because it's out of supplies. But like the Germans have expanded a lot of territory. I think we're at a point now where we may have gained even more territory than what was gained historically. Now the territory isn't necessarily like resource rich per se. It's pretty just empty lands of the Russian steppe, but it is significant from a kind of a strategic, operational perspective, given that the entire southern flank of Moscow is exposed. So the question is, what's going to be the German strategy, right? What's the German strategy for 1942? And I'm thinking right now, the strategy is to push on Moscow. That's what I'm thinking. But I titled this video "Exploring the Eastern Front" because the Eastern Front is relatively large. So I wanted to point all of that out. What more can we say? Like, what's the game plan? Let's go ahead and start the file. I'm going to start the log file. And we'll see how long this stream goes. I may go for probably about an hour. I'll try to keep it brief, not keep it too long of a video. This, like, the mental stamina is like, this game definitely demands a lot of focus for sure. And I don't know if I'm going to go all out in this. I was hoping to go all out today, but today's Sunday. I was hoping to go all out, but I'm thinking probably not. So anyways, let's switch to the German perspective and try to make progress operationally right now. So I've switched to the German perspective. It's probably kind of small to see, right? I can zoom in more. But you can see that, a lot of German units, they're doing pretty well as far as health-wise. A lot of full-strength German units. That's really nice. Some level 3, we did sustain some casualties, for sure. But the main battle, I think right now, is trying to basically creep on Moscow. And the Soviets have responded accordingly, and they've established a really strong defense at Ryask, right? So there's been a pretty hectic battle. You can see German losses. I mean, already there's been at least 88,000 German casualties there. Pretty significant for a battle. But like, if we want to take Moscow, right, it's not going to be an easy fight. I mean, the Soviets are dug in pretty well. My main objective was to take first Tula, and if I can take Tula, I think it's going to open up the possibility of pushing on Moscow later on. So Tula might be the new Stalingrad, basically, for this campaign. We're already approaching August 1942. So I think the Battle of Stalingrad started in September, either August or September of 1942. That'll be kind of good to know when exactly the Battle of Stalingrad started. But I believe it started in the autumn of 1942. That much I know. I don't exactly know. Oh my gosh, it technically started in July of 1942. That's really early. Presumably they're talking about like the advances to the city itself. A lot of the battles took place outside of the city. I guess in this map it would be like Kalach and Kotelnikovo. And so that was part of the Battle of Stalingrad, even though the battle wasn't for the city itself. It took some time for the Germans to actually get to the city for the access. There were other units there as well. But apparently started in July. So that's a really long battle. I mean, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. I'm counting 8 months. That's a very long battle. It might be the longest battle of World War II, the single longest battle of World War II. Not only was it the largest battle, it was also says one of the largest, but it's I think is the longest as far as time goes. I know there were some notable campaigns in the Pacific Theater that took a while. I know that like Okinawa took weeks, but compared to like I don't know, other like compared to other parts of the Eastern Front, let's say, it's definitely the longest battle that I know of. Um, yeah, so it's significant in that sense for sure. So, anyways, that may be what's happening right now with Tula. I think already we've had about 1 long month of fighting in Tula, starting in July, and the Germans have not really made any headway to take the city. I think the Soviet defenses have been relatively tough. So my goal right now is to focus on Tula. I don't want to have like a tunnel vision on Tula. Ideally, I don't. But I'm kind of assessing the combat strength of the German units. I mean, we do have healthy units up here in the north, but I just don't know if the Germans have enough firepower right now to like attack Moscow on all sectors, as well as keep pushing like we've done in these other areas. So I'm thinking the game plan for the Germans is kind of unorthodox, but we've basically bought a lot of breathing room between us and the Soviets. And the idea is I don't really need to hold on to all this territory. It's not that important. I'm thinking we can withdraw. Now, historically, there was a shortage of fuel for the German army. So, this idea of just moving back and forth and zigzagging to and for the front line is not something that I don't think the German army could really do, given the shortages of fuel that they were having, even in 1942. But this game doesn't really have simulate that too much. I mean, we have the HQs here, but the HQs are doing pretty well as far as I can tell. But I think there was a shortage of fuel for the German army even in 1942. That's partly why they couldn't launch a full-scale operation in 1942. Regardless to the combat strength of their units, there was a fuel shortage, and they literally couldn't get more fuel. So something changed in this game. In this game, it seems like the Germans have that kind of initiative. I feel like they have a little bit more initiative than they actually would historically. I don't know. Or maybe, the Soviet casualties have just been so bad in the summer period that, it feels like the Germans have this massive advantage. But I'm thinking like, is to take Moscow, right? Like if we can take Moscow, we're gonna win the Eastern Front, or at the very least, deny the Soviets any opportunity to basically cover from the rest of the war. Our chances of surviving the Allied initiative in like 43, 44, 45 is going to be a lot higher if we do take Moscow. Not to mention, it's a huge production gain of 10 production points. I mean, it's important. But I'm seeing, there's like at least one or two areas to take in order to actually reach Moscow, and they're double defense. So I think if we really want to take Moscow, our best chance is to attack Moscow from all directions. We're not even attacking the north. We're not even attacking Kalinin, right? So we definitely like need to be kind of conscious, I think, of our strategy here to take Moscow. And it's like we got to be careful to not tunnel vision too much into Moscow. But I'm thinking if we're going to approach it in the most linear way possible, and we're going to approach it in the most basic kind of German operational style. I mean, it's obvious we do need to take Tula, we do need to take Ryazk, we do need Kaluga, and we need to take Moshaissk. We need to take one of these four areas, or potentially all four areas, which are all heavily defended, if we want to advance our progress on Moscow. We're not even taking the city itself, but we are like making gains in these areas, right? So I really do think the objective here is going to have to be to take one of these four areas. One, two, three, four. Not sure which ones to take, but ideally we can take all of them. But I don't think it's going to be easy. The Soviets are very well defended here, double defense. Tula is very well defended. Ryazk is very well defended. I mean, a lot of strong defenses, right? So there's that. Um, so let's give it a shot. I think that's the plan. I can't. It's not a very like creative plan. I don't think. But I think it's the most stable plan, even though we're basically committing ourselves to like attritional warfare, basically. But I don't think we can do any sweeping breakthroughs anymore because of the terrain, right? I mean, all this terrain, double defense, except for Riyazk, but the Soviets have four units stacked there. So trying to break through there is not going to be easy. And it is like a 50-50 chance roll of the dice. And basically, we're just going to need to keep doing battle after battle, and the more battles we can do, the higher chance we have of success. Um, but now, basically, something else I want to point out, to attack all four areas as in the maximum way possible, we're going to need to put four units, the equivalent of a single army, basically, in each of these areas. Right now, we have like one Panzer army attacking Ryazk. We got another Panzer army here attacking Tula. So there is a chance that we can take it because Stalingrad did not have a Panzer army. I think it had one corps of the Fourth Panzer Army, but it didn't have. It did not have what you call it. It didn't have a full strength Panzer army available. Now for reserves, it looks like we got another Panzer army over here, although it's under strength. It's got six Panzer divisions, or maybe about actually would probably have like two, or excuse me, like 3 to 4 Panzer divisions, not too many, and then maybe some mobilized divisions. They're not going to really give us what the advantage that we need at this scale of fighting. Um, and then we also need a lot of infantry. The infantry kind of have to take the brunt of the fighting. We need at least 8 full strength infantry if we want to succeed here. 59th, the 17th, the 13th, the 30th, the 42nd, and the 61st are already committed. These units are need to rotate out. They're kind of like they've already taken hits. If we keep attacking like this, I don't think we're going to succeed. I'd rather pull these units out. I want fresh units at full strength, able to attack. But I count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Basically, about 9 infantry corps available to attack. Ideally, we have another Panzer army attacking, right? If we attack with only infantry, our chances of breaking through are significantly lower than what they would be if we attack with a Panzer army, right? So yeah, kind of interesting thing to point out. Here in the south, I have like these mobile infantry divisions, but they're better used for defensive operations. I do have another Panzer army over here near Voronezh. They completed this encirclement, but I'm thinking like maybe it's time that we divert this Panzer army to the north and maybe concentrate it around Kaluga. While this other Panzer army, I just don't want to attack with units under strength. So I'm thinking that we may have to wait another turn before we attack. I'm trying to play the long game here with the German army. My main focus right now is definitely Tula and Wodiyask. I think we can succeed there, but it's not going to be easy. But we should definitely exploit the fact that these other positions are vulnerable to attack. We just need the attack to be successful. And so we need like air power, we need infantry, we need armor, we need all these things to maximize our chances of success. So yeah, I think the main point here is that the Germans, despite having a lot more, functional formations than the Soviets at the present moment, I don't think we have enough to really break through and crack the Soviet line. The only way to do that is to find out. So I guess that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and activate Army Group North here, and we're going to attack. I think we're going to go for Mozhaisk. I think that's the game plan. Also, I got to be careful with this northern flank here, right? I can't just leave a skeletal defense there, because if I do, there's a very strong possibility the Soviets can break through there, and if they break through and they expose our flank here, we're in deep trouble. Now, ideally, I can send another fortress unit and maybe put it at Rezhev there. And if I can put it at Rezhev and start fortifying that position, we actually have a very high chance of succeeding as we push on this other areas. So I could redeploy this 84th Fortress unit, which is probably the wisest thing to do. But right now it's already at level 3. I built it up. Cost me 20 production points to build it up. If I redeploy it, it has to basically disassemble itself. And I kind of don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, right? Because if I do that, you know, it means I have to build up the fortress all over again. So I am thinking like, what's the game plan here? I think we need to like slowly make this shift. We still have the next month of September to buy us a little bit more time as we make more offensive operations. But if I try to do everything at once, there is the risk that the Soviets do launch a counterattack with the formations here. But it's also important to understand that the Soviet situation isn't great either. They may not have the resources available to launch a counteroffensive right now or counterattack, at least on this flank. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and activate OK. First move I want to do is redeploy this fortress unit like so. That's the first move I want to do. Then with the infantry I have, I got like at least 3 infantry here available. I'm thinking let's send yeah, we really don't have any infantry out of range. I think we're gonna blitz also. That's what I'm thinking. This will be a blitz month. So maybe I kind of want to leave it there. Maybe I deploy it here so that it's in range of, oh no, it's not, no. Yeah, we are gonna blitz, I've decided. But I think it's important to know that these attacks that we're doing here in the north, I think we're gonna have to only attack one of these positions, not both. I don't think we can attack both. Only attack one. So yeah, let's do that. I'm thinking like just pile in a bunch of infantry in Kaluga. Like we're not even gonna send the Panzer Army there, and then send the Panzer Army to Mozhaisk. That's really what I want to see. The problem I see is that I don't have enough reserves of like infantry. I'm gonna have to transport a lot of reserves, and like it's gonna take time for them to move. I mean, I got a whole Panzer Army here, right? A really strong Panzer Army, 2 Panzer Armies even, and it's like we kind of need to pull it back. We also need more infantry, right? Like we need to be able to rotate infantry to really like maximize our chances of succeeding. So attacking on a wide front may not be the best thing to do. It may not be the best option. Again, but we're gonna pull out these 2 infantry. I think we're gonna have them basically just stationed here, out of range of the Soviets. What else? Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's wise for me to redeploy this fortress unit just yet. Or maybe I do. I could probably pull out 1 infantry unit right now, attack there. Then we'll send another Panzer Corps in there, 2 more Panzer, 2 more, Panzer, basically another Panzer Corps, supported by infantry can move up. And then I only have 2 infantry available at full strength, which is really nice. But I'm thinking maybe we just establish a static defense around Kaluga. We don't actually try to attack. We actually don't try to attack Kaluga. We try to attack here in the north instead. I'm going to move up Army Group Center. strategic moves. I got these full strength infantry way out here. They don't need to be so far out. The sooner we can take Voronezh, the better. So these are going to be some strategic moves as well. 2 strategic moves there. And then I guess, let's see, kind of just want to stabilize the front line, right? I'm going to move this Army Group A, I think. Also, we're going to move it back. We're going to pull back our formations a little bit. Now that we've taken the territory, I just need to wait for Voronezh to fall. But I'm pulling back as much infantry as I can right now. So that's 1, 2, 3 strategic moves. And then I'll move this armored core out here. That's 4. This one would be 5, like so. The other 2 are in range of the HQ. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I was thinking about making an attack on Stalingrad, right? The Soviets seem to have established somewhat of a defense here at Stalingrad. I was thinking about maybe we could exploit this situation here, given how few Soviet formations are. But I think I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to try to pull back some formations, as many as I can. But like right now, these 2 are in a good offensive position. The problem is that they're not in rail, so I can't like strategically move them. I kind of want to pull them all the way back to Roshov and Pavlovsk. Let's see if I can do that. But like the idea is I want these formations transferring to Moscow. I think that's 7 strategic moves though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I will cancel this core here, armored core. And I'm going to move this core, this core, this core, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like that. And now we have a tighter defensive belt. Whole is empty territory is still like German controlled. So the Soviets will have to like move back if they want to take more territory, right? But I think the idea is that I have, maybe I move this infantry a little bit more up there. And then I guess I'll move this core as well there. Oh, and then this infantry can go there. I think that's it. That's it, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I have all but 1 core in range for the blitz phase. Oh, and I have these 2 core here in reserve, which is really nice. Super nice. 3 units are stacked up here. I guess Army Group Center can move to Orel over here. Maybe I'll put it there. And I'm thinking we definitely need just more troops to contest Kaluga. So I'm thinking maybe this army can be used. I can swap units out for probably the next wave of assault on Tula, and then the other units can pull out. So I'm gonna stack this army here. It's kind of like a reserve army. I guess I'll leave the 13th Corps there. But the idea is if we can't attack Taluga on this turn, which we probably can, I just want to make sure that I'm able to have enough reserves available. Test Kaluga and just keep pressure on the keep pressure on the Soviets there. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I cancel this move there because we need 2 corps to attack from the western flank of Kaluga. So maybe like they can move forward into Vyazma, then flank, hit Kaluga, and then this last unit, even though it's under strength, I can move it up or maybe use this Panzer Corps. But yeah, Right now, combat strength, I would say, is probably about 80% right now effective. Um, and we definitely need more troops moving. We need more infantry, right? I really could use like these two German infantry units. Maybe that's what I gotta do right now. Maybe I'll go ahead and activate OKW ahead of time, presuming that the British don't launch any amphibious landings here in Normandy, France, all these other territory. And I'm thinking maybe we can move these corps, pull them out, try to get them to the Eastern Front. We probably could use that extra two corps, the equivalent of an army, and move it to the Eastern Front. Now I have all of these reserve units, right? And they're going to have to basically replace the front line units that we have right now. So there's going to be a lot of rotations that we have to do. I'm thinking probably best to transfer an infantry army up north to support the fortress unit at Alkmaar, part of Amsterdam, part of Holland, part of yeah Holland. You want to make sure this area is well protected because the Allies could do a landing there. It is clear terrain, so I have a fortress unit there, but it may not be enough. It's only a level 1. But let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and transfer the 88th. Maybe there's another like 68th Corps somewhere. If there is, I don't see it. I got like a lot of reserve units. Oh, maybe I'll transfer the 84th Infantry and move it to Alkmaar. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The nice thing about the Western Front, at least for now, before the Allies have air supremacy, is that we can move units around very easily, and the not as vast as the Eastern Front. So that's pretty convenient. So that's one move. Let's go ahead and move this 80th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move it to Brest. So that's 2 strategic moves. I would like to move a full strength unit to fortify Ostend. So, I mean, ideally we could have a fortress unit there, but I guess we won't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think that's what 3 strategic moves. 1, 2, 3 strategic moves so far. I have enough for one more strategic move, basically. And the idea is if the Allies do decide to land, we're going to have to deal with the problem all over again of trying to contest the Allied beachhead, putting pressure on the Allied beachhead, and eventually kicking them out. The British did successfully land in France back in 1941, I think. And it wasn't until 1942 that we were able to finally kick them out. Um, so that happened. But basically, this time around, I mean, we have more panzers available. We have the equivalent of a panzer army, although under strength, I don't know how many tanks they have. Probably, if I had to think, maybe 191 tanks per division, maybe about two, maybe three panzer divisions, maybe only like two panzer divisions right now. So you're looking at, I don't think anything more than like 500 tanks right now in France, maybe less. I'm pretty sure, like right now, Rommel right now has more tanks, presumably. I'm not sure how it is in the Mediterranean front in the desert here. But I presumably more armor than all of France does. That's pretty significant. So we're totally out of position to launch some kind of counter offensive right now. All our strong armies have moved north, but I really want to transfer these infantry armies to the east as soon as possible. That to me takes the utmost priority, right? So let's see. I did 1, 2, 3, 2 more strategic moves, 4, 5, and then I got one more strategic move left, right? I'm thinking, let's see here. I'm thinking maybe we like double stack 2 units in Brest. It's not good to have Brest only have one, basically the equivalent of one German division protecting it. It's a very long coast. I mean, these hexes are about, I think it's like 60 kilometers per side. So, like, you're looking at about 120 kilometers on the northern part, plus you gotta protect this, like, western flank. I mean, you're looking at about, I think, 240 kilometers of territory with one division, which is presumably somewhere between 15, 20,000 troops. You can do the math on that, but, like, I mean, 240,000 is it 40,000? No, no. It's just 240 kilometers, 240,000 meters, basically. And you divide that, by, like, what would it be like? We'll stick to our figure of 22,000, and we'll get a number. This number is probably really confusing. Maybe I should flip it around. 22,000 divided by 240. But the question I have is how many troops per kilometer are available? Currently, 91 troops per kilometer. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, I think, yeah, it's an extremely, extremely weak defense, is what I'm trying to say. We do have this main German armored unit here. This is like the hallmark of our entire defense. If this unit fails in the attack, which it could, the whole situation basically collapses. So I'm trying my best to just preemptively avoid a successful Allied landing anywhere. The idea being that if they do land, we can launch a quick counterattack. Ideally, I would have like at least an infantry army available somewhere to counterattack. Problem is, I don't have any infantry at full strength. The ones that I do, I've decided to deploy to the north. So maybe I cancel this 84th. Maybe I cancel this 84th move instead. Instead, I just move like maybe a cadre unit, or maybe just an infantry army unit. I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with the militia. These are basically, I said cadre, I meant to say militia units. The militia units are static units. They're not designed to move. They're very hard to deploy for operations. And so I am thinking, like, I just got to figure out where to keep them. I'm kind of keeping them in static positions. Saint Nazaire, Saint Nazaire, Saint Nazaire, Saint. I'm gonna try to pronounce French. Saint Nazaire, right here. There's that. You've got Le Havre, right there. The Dieppe. You got that. I think that's a good place to leave it. But I have, oh, and then also this 90th, which is at St. Lo. This is protecting this fortress at Cherbourg, which is very well defended. And it's basically protecting against it getting put out of supplies if the Allies do land in say, Normandy. So I got like one militia unit available, right? And I'm thinking like what to do with it, right? Where do I want to put it? Ideally, I do put it in Alkmaar. I think that's the place to put it, right? Or maybe somewhere in Amsterdam, basically, or there. So let's try that. It's not the best move. I probably will regret it just because it's under strength. So I'm thinking it's probably best if we send an infantry. The more infantry we can send there, the better, I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't do anything to improve the defense, but I can get ahead of time and start fortifying it. Maybe next turn I fortify all the militia units. So anyway, strategically we did 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I did 3 strategic moves. I can do one more, basically. I can do one more strategic move. Before I start transferring these other units, I'm thinking of putting the 84th probably in Normandy so that it's in range to reinforce Brest if necessary. If I'm going to counterattack, I'd rather counterattack with 2 units rather than 1. This Panzer Corps is in range of pretty much everywhere, including Belgium, but the infantry is a little bit shorter range. Let's move it here and put it there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 strategic moves. The last strategic move I have is to basically, or the last 2 strategic moves I have is to basically move the 2 armies that I want and transfer them to the east. And it's going to take a while for them to arrive, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'll cancel this 88th. There's 2 88th actually, so they should stay together. I'm thinking maybe I'll transfer it in piecemeal. Yeah, let's go ahead and just move this infantry here. Put it there. 2 is better than 1. There's a slight chance that we can repulse, pretty low, but it's better than nothing. And then let's do the final strategic moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll move this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this one will get to the eastern front. 8, 9, 10, like that. All right, so that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that one made it to the eastern front. This one's on its way. And I think that's all we can do. Deactivate OKW. Go ahead and deploy OKW and move it to Paris so that, if the Allies do land, presumably we can use a little bit of air support to counterattack, right? On the whatchamacallit, Western Front. Let me confirm that. 1942, air power, Axis Western Front. Summer 42 is double fire. So this is the last time that we have double fire. So I'm thinking we should probably take advantage of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. There we go. And that's a pretty good setup. We got good weather. The defense is far from ideal, right? I mean, we have so many understrength units right now. It's not even funny, but it is manageable, and we can organize some kind of counterattack while at the same time scaling down and trying to get more units to move to the east, right? Now, as far as areas that I want to support combat, I think the main battles need to be Tula and Ryazk. So I'm going to put airstrike markers there. One's coming from Army Group North. The other one's coming from OKH, which is nice. And then what else? Here in the Mediterranean front, this HQ is at level 2. My gosh, we were able to build that up. Yeah, we're in a very good position to launch a counterattack unit. I'm just going to deploy. I guess I'm not sure which unit I should deploy. Probably move up this Italian units, or I guess I'll move up this German unit and put it in Misurata. It's a militia unit. It is a part of a paratrooper, so I don't know why it's militia. I don't think it actually has double defense because technically it's not a airborne. It's not this airborne unit over here that I have deployed here in southern France in Bordeaux. Is that Bordeaux? No. What? Oh, it is Bordeaux, huh? I thought Bordeaux was somewhere else. But like ideally, we can build up that infantry army again. That Italian, I think it's the 10th Army. Build that up again, and we can even further beefing up our defense here, because the British, although they totally swept the drive on Benghazi, we did successfully withdraw, and now they're going to have to push through this very difficult region of terrain, of logistics, really. So their HQs are going to cost a lot more if they want to attack. So we could potentially hold out. Oh, and I think the second front has actually opened up, right? The second front up. Oh my gosh. So hold on. I need to cancel all these moves on the western front. I got to cancel all of them. Dang it. That's a bummer. Let's do that. Let's just cancel everything though. It's not that bad. And then actually the allies get to move first on the western front. So that's a huge difference. Is that right? Let me just make sure that this unit. Okay, I think this unit was here. Oh, and this unit was there. Okay, and that should be the setup that we had. Yep. Okay. So let's just like get rid of the movement markers. Increase this to full strength. OKW. And then we're actually going to start the turn with the allies, the Western Allied forces. So, I mean, thankfully, the Eastern Front is not affected by the operations that we're dealing with, but I'm going to put that on pause, and then we're going to switch over and just focus on the Western Allied powers and see what they're going to do. Do we want to launch an amphibious invasion, yes or no? That's really the only question that we need to ask right now. I think the short answer is no. just because right now this 15th Army Group has the amphibious units ready to land, but the 2nd Canadian Corps is under strength, right? It's at level 3. I'd rather attack at full strength, but we do have this beachhead marker ready to go. So that means that we could potentially launch an amphibious invasion right now. In fact, we could even launch an amphibious invasion in whatchamacallit over here, and maybe even invade um, French North Africa. Because I have the Allied force here, the Supreme HQ in Gibraltar, I'm going to go ahead and activate that. I think we're finally ready to deploy our entire formation and have it move to have it start moving to the west, basically. So I'm thinking maybe we'll actually activate this 21st Army Group. It's not in range to move this unit, so this will be a supreme move. 1, 2. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do some modifications here. I think I'm gonna activate this HQ here. We got to be careful. I mean, the Axis could still potentially land in Alexandria, and if they do land in Alexandria, we're in deep trouble. So I'm not going to activate that. Actually, we actually need more units over here. The Axis haven't done any uprisings. There's always the risk of that happening. I'm thinking probably the wisest thing to do is go ahead and activate this, or maybe not. I don't know. I think we can use the Allied HQ there. Allied Force Supreme HQ, and I think I'm going to move unit 1, 2, 3 to Alexandria just in case the Axis do anything sneaky. I mean, even if the Axis do successfully create a revolt in Palestine or Syria, I'm pretty sure we can handle it. I just don't want to lose Alexandria. If we lose Alexandria, our entire supply lines of our advancing force right now will be in serious trouble. And it looks like the Axis could. I don't know if they have an HQ there at full strength or not, but they could. They could potentially do that. So I want to just be aware of that. Here's another supreme move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. All right, that's another supreme move. Then we're going to go ahead and just attack this position. Oh, we got to be really careful with this attack, because if the Axis do successfully launch a counterattack, oh, so we got to cancel this move too. If they do launch a successful counterattack and they succeed, they're going to totally delay our offensive progress. So maybe what I'll do is not activate this army group. I think I'm gonna just do all supreme moves. So I did 2 supreme moves. Here's a third one, and then the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think the fourth one. No. I think what we'll do. Dang it! So I did 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't have to do this one. That's kind of redundant. Let's try to get like attack with at least 3 units, full stack this advance here. So I'm thinking we can move this 13th Corps here, and then move up the Armored Corps like that. I'm thinking. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess this one. I guess I'll move to Benghazi. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And the idea is we can advance with a full strength group to attack on the next turn. We are going to be in command range. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. And then we can also make sure that Benghazi is fortified. Okay, so that's pretty good. So we're focusing on the Mediterranean front. We're not going to focus on the Western front, it doesn't look like. We're not using any supreme moves on the Western front. Now I have a full strength airborne unit. That would help a lot to launch an amphibious invasion on the Atlantic coast, right? But we need the Supreme HQ to do that. And I just spent a turn. I'm trying to focus on North Africa as much as possible, trying to take Libya as soon as possible, basically. So I think that should be the priority. Maybe take Libya first before we consider another invasion of France or Belgium or any of these areas. But if we can put strategic pressure on France, we should, or put strategic pressure on the Atlantic wall, we should. Yeah. Big old lisp there. All right. So let's see what else we can do. Morocco, Algeria, or Tunisia. We could declare war on Vichy France right now, but we don't actually have an invasion force available. This American Fifth Corps actually doesn't have amphibious invasion sites, not until much later. We unlock these beachheads. This is for the Sixth Corps. This is for the Second Corps. The Fifth Corps is not available until December of 1943. So this unit here is not designed for amphibious invasion. It's just extra manpower. It's not really an amphibious invasion unit at all, technically. Not until we have a beachhead available. So the only amphibious invasion unit we have is this first British Corps, and it's like I have a couple other three mech corps available, but they're all kind of out of position. It's the only problem that I see right now. They're just out of position. I would need to stack up more units here, which is probably what I could do. I mean, I could go ahead and activate this HQ, and just rotate some units around. I could like go ahead and I don't know, move up this 12th core, put it there. I can then move this 8th core, put it there. So this area is stacked up nicely. And then all I would need is the Supreme HQ to launch an amphibious invasion, which I really want to do. But if we're gonna do it, like now is the time to strike. I don't think we should wait any more than we have to. But our intelligence, we don't know what the Axis have. So it's kind of this thing of like, do we attack early when we're strategically unprepared? But of course, our adversary is also strategically unprepared. So like, which one do we do? And like figuring out how to be the most economical with it. And then also keep in mind, I don't think we have the resources to attack both the Atlantic Wall and Vichy France at the same time. Like Vichy France is huge. It's a lot of territories, a lot of terrain. We're gonna need like a lot of resources committed if we want to take it swiftly, like they did historically. And we need more manpower. And in these American units, this HQ is gonna arrive in November 1942. We could definitely like launch the invasion then. But like since we have the strategic initiative right now, I'm thinking, do we try to exploit that more? And try to push on the Atlantic Wall right now? I mean, we could. So yeah, it's kind of a complex situation. I'm thinking best to preserve our production for more important things. I think our production is, let's see, we should probably look at the production right now. Um, I think the production is at 22 right now. It's very high. With 22, I mean, we could definitely build up 2 HQs on the next turn. I'm thinking with 22, we obviously want to build up this. Um, I'm also thinking like I think the Mediterranean front is pretty good as far as production goes, but like we definitely just want to like be as economical as we can. We already built up the beachhead. That's really good. So I'm thinking, maybe on the next turn we launch this operation. Let's go ahead and do the transfer. I'm going to move this 12th core forward. This core will go over there. And that's it. It's just kind of 2 operational moves. This HQ. Ideally, we can also move the other HQ. Like ideally, we can use the airborne unit as well as part of the amphibious invasion. If we do that, our chances of success are much, much, much higher, especially given that it's at full strength. So I would need, though, like 2 supreme moves to move the British HQ back to London, the supreme HQ, meaning I would have to cancel 2 supreme moves over here, right? So like I did 1, 2, 3. And then I did 4 here. So maybe I got to cancel one of these supreme moves. Which one would it be, though? I guess I would cancel this supreme move. And then the other one I can activate using this Mediterranean HQ. Oh, actually, no. Cross command. No, it should be fine. Let's deactivate it. So I did 1 with that one. Then I did 2 supreme moves over here. And then the last two, I'm actually going to give it to this HQ. We're going to go ahead and send it back to London. 1, 2, 3, and it has one automatically. So yeah, so those 3 supreme moves. It has 1 supreme move built in, and so that should work. So now, presumably, not on the next turn, but on the next month, we are now in position to invade. Actually, if I'm going to do that, you know what? I'm gonna pull out the Canadian Corps, and I'm just gonna move in this other British. I would have liked to attack with the Canadians though. They're a pretty cool unit. But like the idea is we gotta go all out to I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But like the idea is we can go all out if we're gonna do this amphibious invasion right now. Maybe like I don't know, maybe we should have maybe this American unit in London, perhaps. Yeah. And now we should be able to like launch an amphibious invasion, strike hard wherever we land, and our chances of success are much higher. Presumably, we could even attack on the next turn if we're really ambitious, but our HQs are all under strength, of course. They're all totally under strength. I kind of want to keep this unit in Dover because, you know, it keeps the German intelligence guessing whether we're going to attack from the English Channel or we're going to attack from the North Sea, right? We kind of want to keep them guessing in that sense. And of course, it would be ideal to have this HQ at the coast because then it's in range of Cherbourg, it's in range of Calais, it's in range of Dieppe, it's in range of Ostend, right? So maybe we could try putting it there as well. Not a bad idea. But I'm thinking London is just the most economical place to put it. But like if you really want to attack on the next turn, right? We have actually a lot of range from London. From London, we can attack Cherbourg. We can attack here, Dieppe. We can attack Ostend. Yeah, we have a pretty good command range. The only place that we're out of range right now is Normandy. Right now, it's the only place that we're out of range. Normandy and Caen, the only areas that we won't be able to attack with our airborne unit or HQ once it's at full strength right now, right? If it's going to be a level 1, you know, it's like we have actually still a pretty good set of targets that we can hit. Because it's double the range, right? Two hexes away. So we could hit like one of these 4 areas. Could hit the Belgian Holland coast, right? So I'm thinking maybe to like intimidate the enemy, we do put this airborne unit here. Doesn't make it does affect our ability to attack Cherbourg though, right? So thinking that's one option that we could do. It's kind of an interesting option, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is there's always the option of deterrence, right? And kind of keeping the enemy on their toes, and we got to really figure out like what our real target is, and try to go for that target instead, right? So I'm thinking London is still the best place, or maybe we leave it here in Portsmouth, try to keep the enemy guessing, make them think that we're hitting the south, when in fact we're actually going to hit um, the East Coast, right? Not the East Coast, but hit moving east. So yeah, operationally, it is somewhat clunky. I do admit it is definitely a clunky process for sure. Let's just stick to this. I'm going to stick to this setup. It's kind of a not as exciting setup, but it seems to kind of give me all the options that I want. All right, so there's that. It should be clear weather on the Eastern Front. And I think with that, we will now conclude the Allied turn. But the Allied logistics are definitely being pushed to their max right now, for sure. Okay, with that, we'll switch over to the German side now. Same as before, going to activate OKW. I'm not going to really change the German plan too much. I'm just thinking like we want to make sure that all these areas are very well defended. So let's see. Strategic moves. Let's move this like 64th Corps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to move it there. Move the 84th core here. That's 2. Third strategic move. Move this core 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to Brest. If we lose Brest, it's not the end of the world. It's pretty far in the west, and we could launch good counterattacks there. So it's better to attack there, given that our Panzer Corps is in range. It's better to lose there than to lose up here in the north. So that's 3 strategic moves. The 4th strategic move that I'm going to do is only one more, right? Probably deploy a militia units. That's what I'm thinking. Ideally put it in, I don't know. I think what I'll do is I'll probably put this one in Normandy, like so. So that we could build up for a counterattack if necessary. So yeah, our center position is the weakest, but we do have resources available to counterattack, so that's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last 2 will be the other strategic moves that we were doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to give the video a good like. As a friendly reminder, the whole algorithm thing helps the channel grow for sure. I would love to see the channel grow. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for tuning in. And please give the video a big old like, comment below. Comments and questions all help the algorithm increase the viewership of this channel. And the idea is, more people can watch. I think probably looks like this live stream didn't succeed. I didn't announce it or nothing, but I would love to have like more live streams of this game, play with more people, that kind of thing. And of course, if you're interested in playing with me, you can send me a message and we can set up a time to play for sure. I think it's a good game and it's a good time, and it's kind of like a nice way to meet people, good people. So anyways, that's what I did for the Western Front. I'm going to go ahead and move this OKW to Paris. So that it can support any kind of counteroffensive. It's in range. It's even in range of Alkmaar, so that's good. Yeah. I think we're now ready to fully focus on the and commit to an offensive here on the Eastern Front. We're going all out on the southern flank of Moscow. We're also attacking up here, Moshaizk. We did not attack Kaluga. It's because we don't really have that many reserves right now to attack, which is wild to me that we don't. We do have some strong infantry in the south, but we need time to transfer them up to the north. I'm going to go ahead and just deploy OKH in Bryansk there. So theoretically, at this moment, the Soviets could attack Hitler from Bryansk, right? It's kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to focus on these 2 battles here. That's where the Soviets have concentrated a lot of resources, and so are we. So let's see how it goes. Start with this battle up here in the north. 2 Soviet infantry armies. They scored 2 hits. Ouch. I think I'm keeping track of casualties, right? See if that was saved. Okay, here we go. August, the Soviets, and then the Axis. The Axis sustained 44,000 at, I think it's Moshaizk, right? Now, we do have a Panzer Army there, about 2 to 3 German divisions. Let's see how they do. They score no hits. Germans, the infantry do score 1 hit, though, against the Soviets. Nice. Double defense for the Soviets. So good job, German infantry. That's what we needed. All right. Tula, this is the main battle. I really want to see success here. Soviets have 3 armies defending, all at level 2. Presumably, that's probably about, what is that, 9 times 25? About 225,000 troops at the moment defending Tula. Let's see how it goes. Airstrike scores half a hit. Soviets roll. Scoring 1 hit. That's nice. All right. Now the Germans are gonna roll. Let's see how it goes. There we go. We scored 4 hits so far, plus the infantry, no hits. Okay. So we scored 2 hits against the Soviets. Their combat power is now from a level 6 down to a level 4. So they lost like 30% of their combat power just now, 50,000 casualties. Now they're down to 175,000 troops, plus presumably additional casualties or loss of ammunition and so on and so forth. The war of attrition. So that's good. We are making headway on Tula. If we can destroy some of these armies, encircle them, destroy them at a more like operational tactical scale, we're gonna be able to take the city pretty quickly. So that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and deactivate OKH. Let's go ahead and do the battle here on the flank of Tula, Ryazk. Let's see how it goes. Soviets are very well dug in. Oh yeah, the Soviets have a strong defense here. This is not gonna be. This is the hardest battle. It's not gonna be easy. The Soviets actually have more firepower than we do. Although we do have air support, we do score 1 hit. Soviets have 9 triple fire. Oh my gosh. They just scored 6 hits against the Germans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they could actually potentially even counterattack. Jeez. That was really bad for the Axis. Super bad. 2 hits there. The good news is that we do have armored reserves. Let's see what the Germans can do. Retaliate. Let's see if we can get some. Okay, we got 1 more hit. Okay, Soviet defense there is super tough. 2 shock armies, right? Plus a tank army. And they just totally creamed our German formations. The infantry just got shattered. German armor took some hits there as well. It was 6 hits, right? Jeez, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it was 6 hits. So that's about 132,000 casualties for the Germans. Pretty bad. Soviets only lost 50,000. So that's like 3-to-1 ratio in casualties there. Damn. All right, let's do the blitz phase. We definitely are in need of reinforcements in that sector. Do I have, okay, I have 1 infantry army, thank goodness, 1 infantry corps. We're gonna rotate these units out. And then I'm just gonna, yeah, just send in this panzer army in there. And then we're gonna pull back this infantry. So I'm gonna put an entire panzer army there, hoping that it can survive against whatever Soviet counterattack comes our way, which is very possible. What else can we do? That's it. As far as like sending in reinforcements, let's go ahead and attack Kaluga with 2 German units. That's not a good idea. I actually don't want to do that because last time we ended up losing a bunch of units. So let's put this unit here, that unit there. We'll move this infantry unit, move this infantry unit up, this one up as well. And we have a somewhat stable defensive line here. This army can protect the flank. We could use reinforcements on Tula. I don't see any reinforcements right now. How we're doing with the Panzer armies, pretty under strength. It's hard to replace the Panzer army casualties because they're more expensive. But I'm thinking it's a bit of a gamble, but let's try to send more Panzer armies into Tula. Ideally, we could send in, you know what? Ideally, we could send in another infantry army there. That would be ideal. That would be ideal. Okay, you know, this unit, we're going to actually move it there. Yeah, we pretty much have nothing in terms of reserves right now. All we have is 1 Panzer Corps in reserve. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and send... I was moving these infantry units around. Let's send them into Tula. We can. 1 unit in there. Another unit in there. And then we'll pull out this German unit. And then I'll go ahead and move this Panzer Corps right there at Vyazma. There we go. Oh, we still have more units in here. Hold on. So 1 unit pulled out. 1 unit moved up. Yeah, 1 unit. Both units went in. Okay, I can pull 1 more unit out. let's pull out this infantry unit here. And that will be our reserve. Okay, so you know what? This unit can go there. And then we still have a reserve Panzer Corps that I kind of want to use as well. Probably best to put it somewhere here so that's in range of potentially attacking Kaluga. Yeah. So I mean, we are making progress. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to make another attack on Rias. Not yet. Not until, I don't want to. If we suffer 6 hits again, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not going to be a good look, and it's very possible that that could happen. So let's double down on Kaluga instead, or on Tula rather. Oh, and then last move, we'll put this HQ Army Group Center in Orel, and I guess this Army Group South HQ, I'll go ahead and I'll just leave it there, I guess. So yeah, our flanks are secure. Soviets could counterattack potentially at Ryazk. If they do, they're in for a surprise. We are dug in, but we could be sustaining heavier casualties there as well. We may need to launch more operations in that direction, but the priority right now remains Tula. So let's do that. Let's start with the airstrike. No hits. Soviets roll 4. No hits. Thank goodness. Their morale seems pretty low. We're going to attack with 2 Panzer Corps. They score 2 hits. Excellent. Followed by infantry. No hits. 2 more hits, just like that. Nice. We destroyed one of the Soviet armies. Let's go ahead and destroy the 21st. Nice. So that is technically 3 Soviet casualties. Right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And that is that. All right. I think now we can switch over to the Soviet side. See how this goes for the Soviets, how they're doing, and assess the casualties. Because, I mean, the Red Army situation is pretty rough too, for sure. Soviets do have a strong reserve right now. They're actually doing very well with reserves. We have this 3rd Shock Army here in reserve. I think it's time that we launch a counterattack. The only problem I see for the Soviets is that we don't have, whatchamacallit, we can't blitz right now with the Soviets, which is a dang shame. Everywhere else along the front, the line is sensitive, to put it lightly. It's very sensitive. Maybe this Baltic HQ, or maybe we hold off on the counter. We hold off. I think strategically, historically, the Soviets understood that the best to wait until the winter to prepare for some kind of offensive operation. I think that's still the game plan for the Soviets. We got to focus on 2 objectives simultaneously, 3 in fact: building up the reserves, replacing the casualties, preparing for a winter offensive, and thirdly, sustaining the defense that we have currently. I'm thinking right now we got to do something operationally here and keep the Germans off guard. So we're going to counterattack. I'm going to move this 3rd Shock Army. We're going to put it in Ryazk. It seems to be the most important area. Pull out the 24th, and we're going to have it fall back to Ryazan. Now, the defenses west of Moscow seem to be holding, but for how long, right? So it's good to have a strategic reserve, a way to kind of send in more reinforcements. We really don't have much of that at the moment. We pretty much have nothing as far as reserves go. Ideally, I can send in another unit into Tula. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to move the 16th into Tula. Just buy us a little bit more time, I'm thinking. And then we'll move the 22nd. So we really have no reserves right now around Moscow. Now, of course, we do have the ability to transfer reserves quickly. Oh, this unit's going to be out of supplies too. It's going to be eliminated. And we did lose some production there too. We actually lost 2 production. I don't know if I updated that. I don't think I did. But we're at 57 presumably because Tula is cut off. And Voronezh has fallen. I don't want to count Soviet production, the whole thing on the Eastern Front. I probably should. Let's do that real quick. How much production has been lost? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. They lost 23. They've gained 12 because of the winter. So they would have lost, I believe, 11. And originally they had 68. So yeah, the production is correct. Also this area here, I think we're going to keep those areas, keep the front line the same. But yeah, no, the main point right now is that we're launching a counterattack, and we'll see how it goes. It may be, or maybe we don't attack. That might be the wiser move. Maybe we don't attack. Actually, we don't launch a offensive operation. But like, as far as the way the game works, hold on, I'm trying to think. I want to drink some tea. As far as the way the game works, what we experienced there in the last turn technically would have been the equivalent of Soviet counterstrokes, which is what happened historically in, say, 1941 and in 42. This game doesn't really show small scale counterattacks necessarily, but it shows it in the way the defensive dice roll. And so presumably the Soviets actually launched like preemptive counterstrikes before the Germans even launched their offensive, something along these lines. So I think that's what we got to keep doing. We got to keep just the strategic operational pressure on the Germans. We don't necessarily need to attack them, at least not yet, especially given how bad our reserves are elsewhere. I think the wiser thing to do is hold the line a little longer. Just keep, rotating units wherever we can. So we were able to rotate a bunch of units. Maybe what I got to do is, no, I think the Baltic HQ was the right call there. Or maybe like, I don't know, maybe we, instead of doing that, we could have activated, how many moves did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. This unit moved, this unit pulled back, this unit advanced, and then one more unit moved up. Maybe we activate Stavka for that, rather than trying to activate these local HQs. Or maybe activate the Western HQ and I can do some rotations here as well. I'm thinking maybe activate the Western HQ instead and just try to rotate units as soon as possible. Sooner rather than later is the better call, I think. The only problem is that the unit was here is not going to be able to move into Tula. The situation is not great. No, I think I'm just going to stick to what I had and just activate this Baltic HQ. Not sure where I should put it. Deactivate it. Where do I deploy it? Because I'll probably just leave it there, but it's totally under strength right now. There's that. All right. No other strategic moves for the Soviets. We're going to move on to the next turn. Let's switch over to the British and prepare our advances in North Africa. Let's see how this goes. All right, I think we're ready to advance. Activate this HQ. Do we attack? Do we not attack? Do we blitz? We may have to blitz, which would be far from ideal. I'm just really concerned about a German counterattack. If the German counterattack succeeds for whatever reason, we are in serious operational trouble in the long term. So I'm thinking maybe we don't counterattack just yet. We maybe consider encircling 1, 2, 3. Maybe we consider encircling this formation. We're not going to attack it. We're just going to encircle. We're just going to put like operational pressure on it. And then we can actually on the next turn do a encirclement, which may not be necessary. It's probably easier to push through logistically, keep our units and supplies. But the idea is, we got to preserve this desert Africa force. We got to preserve it if we want to have kind of long-term success, right? So that's it. I mean, I could have attacked. I'm sure we could have even taken it. I just don't want to deal with a German counterattack right now. So I'm playing it as if I was Montgomery and really taking my time with these operations. No operations in the west. We're going to pass on that. Switching over to the Germans, and let's see what the Germans do this turn. We need more reinforcements on the Eastern Front for sure. The Soviets did not counterattack. It would have been very interesting to see a Soviet counterattack, but I decided against it just because I didn't want to sustain heavy losses when we can't afford it. But maybe we should have counterattacked. I don't know. You can let me know down below if I should have counterattacked or not. Maybe the Soviets would have had a higher chance of success. Maybe, maybe not. I was very hesitant to attack, and I probably regret that decision. I think to keep the game kind of spicy, we are going to do that Soviet counterattack. Let's see how it goes. Fighting off 4 German panzer divisions. I mean, the problem with that is that no, I think we'll hold the line. We're just going to hold the line, preserve our manpower, leave it as it is. Okay. So now we're going to activate Army Group Center, and now we can actually make further attacks. Trying to attack Tula is a pain in the butt right now because the Soviets keep sending in reinforcements, right? So I'm thinking we may have to change our strategy. This time I'm going to go all out on Mozhaisk. I'm going to pull out these 2 corps. I'm going to move in. Let's deploy his HQ here. I'm going to move up this unit there. Move up this infantry unit there. And now we've got a full attack on Mozhaisk. Standard attack, nothing fancy. Just 2 infantry units in, 2 out. You know what? This unit should probably attack from the southern flank. And then this unit will actually, I'll have it march its way out there. Yeah, the setup is okay. Maybe we can leave this mech unit up there, I'm thinking. This infantry unit can go there. I really do want to attack Kaluga, but I think I'm going to have to wait another turn for more reinforcements, right? That's the game plan, it seems. So pretty good setup. I got this full strength Panzer Corps, which is pretty nice. Oh, you know what? I think this Army Group Center, I'm actually going to move it here. That means that this unit over here cannot attack. It's out of range. But the reason why is because I want to actually move the 16th Corps into Ryazk right there. Just try to beefing up the situation there. I think we're going to launch another attack there is what I'm thinking, which would be ideal. That would be ideal for sure. We just have a lot of understrength German units right now. All the other good units are out of range. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to do some modifications here. Infantry unit can move up like here. 1, 2. Oh, see, this Panzer Corps is out of range. I mean, I could really use this Panzer Corps, the 52nd, the 50th, and have them move up north, but they're out of range. So let's see, that unit pulled out, that unit also pulled out, that unit moved in. Oh, maybe maybe what I'll do, I'm gonna attack with this Panzer Corps. I'm gonna go there. So we're attacking with a full Panzer army there. And then that infantry unit moved. This guy can march here. Put that infantry there. All right. So not a. Oh, and then let's pull out 1 unit out there, 1 unit out there. Let's move in this unit here. Pull out this Panzer Corps like so, and I guess we'll put it. Put it like here. All right. So we could attack. I mean, we do have the resources to try to attack. Ryazk. Right. I got a strong defense. It's kind of like evenly matched. I'm thinking we'll hold off on that. We're not going to blitz on this turn for the sake of like preserving our HQs. but the main priority obviously needs to be still Tula, but I don't know if it's gonna work. So we're gonna experiment here and try to attack this flank here in the north. Maybe we may have an easier time there than we will in this other defense here that the Soviets have. Of course, the Soviets more time, but we're also giving ourselves more time to figure out how these operations are going to go down. See if we can make gains. It's really the only question that we have here. I also have this mech core available. I have no idea what to do with that mech core. I'm thinking maybe we move it down south here, or we leave it up there to kind of guard the flank. It is an infantry reserve after all. I think we can leave it there for now. All right, so let's see how this battle goes. No blitz, just a regular attack. We're giving the Soviets significant time for preparation, but I'm thinking like we're gonna play the long term here as far as taking Moscow. So I'm trying to prepare for the. I'm not expecting to win the war in one summer. I'm trying to prepare for the rainy seasons. They have a really cool name, Rasputitsa. It's a beautiful name, and I'm going to prepare for that, and then also try to maintain some kind of initiative in the winter is what I'm thinking. That's the game plan, at least. So if we can inflict as many casualties as we can on the Soviets right now, all the better. Battle of Mosaisk, nice. We got a hit. That's what I'm talking about. We'll put it on the 10th. So we roll one hit. Ouch. All right, and now we'll roll the Panzer Corps. Ooh, nice hits. Nice. 1, 2, 3 more hits. Wow. So we got 4 hits altogether. Yeah, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, if we had we blitzed, right, we probably would have seen more success there. But it's okay. We scored some pretty good hits there. The Soviets lose another 4. The Germans lose 1 more. So now the casualties are relatively evenly matched. Let's also, before I deactivate, let's also do another round at Tula. We got strong infantry. Let's see how it goes. Soviets did reinforce, and they scored 2 hits. Ouch. We still have a strong Panzer Corps there. They scored hits. Ooh, and the infantry scored hits there as well. Nice. Even exchange there. Very even. So basically, yeah, Tula may still fall. That's really good. No need to blitz. We could have, but we don't have any full strength infantry at the moment, and we need. Oh, and something else I meant to do. Dang it, I forgot to do it on this turn. Was to move Army Group A to the north, or probably move it to Tula or something like that. I guess on the next turn I can do that, but this next turn I really want to focus on sending in more manpower, sending in more reserves. So the idea is if we can transfer like I don't know what would it be like another 100,000, 200,000 troops to the Eastern Front, replace our casualties, we can sustain the momentum. That's one of the reasons why the Battle of Stalingrad failed, was because the timing of receiving reinforcements was really slow for both sides. But really, I think it was the Axis that had a reinforcement issue. So did the Soviets, but the Soviets were planning that counteroffensive in the winter, so they were building up reserves along the flanks. But the Germans, the Axis, were trying to send in manpower, and they just didn't send in enough to build up a critical mass that was really needed to kind of punch their way through Stalingrad. Despite how messy Stalingrad was, it could have been a lot messier. And so that's what we're seeing here at Tula. I mean, the Germans are making gains. They're about to take the city. They've been fighting for what, about 2 months now. And I mean, the Soviet defense, 3 armies, not 2, like at Stalingrad, are at their breaking point right now. The Soviets have about 150,000 troops right now defending the city. Divisions, who knows how strong the Soviet rifle divisions are, but they're at their breaking point for sure. Super fascinating. I mean, this stuff just really fascinating. I love this stuff. Very interesting. It's a little, it can be kind of dark, but on a good day with good company, it's really worthwhile to study your history for sure. So that's the German turn. Nothing on the Western Front. No need to do anything on the Western Front. Rather keep this OKW at level 2. Switch to the Soviets. Let's see how it goes for the Soviets. What they do. I don't think they're going to be able to reinforce Tula. They could, though. But it's costing us HQs, right? And creating a single HQ is the equivalent of casualties at Moshaizk. So what I'm going to do is move the 20th Army and send it in there. That's one strategic move. Maybe move in the 33rd as well. Thinking it's another strategic move. And then I think all I'll do now. Oh man, we still have the Leningrad HQ too. We're not even using the Leningrad HQ right now. Probably do is move these 2 units down, put the Leningrad HQ in Kalinin so that it's just in range. And yeah, that's it. 2 operational moves here, and then 2 operational, or they're all kind of like operational and or strategic moves. This was a rail move technically. We probably, I just realized we probably should have attacked with the Soviets here. It was a good opportunity to attack, and we kind of blew it. Because these HQs are costly, right? If we're gonna move units in like that, might as well attack again and wait for the Germans to come to us. But we are not reinforcing Tula. Like, I don't think the Soviets have the reserves right now to reinforce Tula, unfortunately. So there's that. I think that ideally we could pull back some of these core and try to replace the losses. I'm thinking too. That. Just try to I move 1 unit in. These 2 units move south. I can pull 1 unit out. Or I can just focus on building up cadre, which is just not a bad idea. Yeah, it's not a great setup. Not a great setup to send in understrength units to the front line too. Sending in 1 army to reinforce is probably not enough. The Germans can probably make some serious gains if they decide to attack. But I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I'll just pull 1 unit out, question mark, try to rotate some units. It's hard to say what the best option is here. Ideally, I can move this 13th in, so it'd be 2 units in. I guess I won't move the Leningrad HQ just yet. And then the last unit I'll have, we need more reserves, bro. One, two, 3. I got 1 more move. Obviously, you want Klin to be protected. You don't want that flank to be exposed. We're going to be in deep doo-doo if the Germans decide to launch a counterattack there, or launch an offensive there, rather. Let me see here. Maybe I can move, pull 1 unit out, maybe, right? Right there. I think that's it. That's the best option. Oh, let's move. Let's have it fall back to Moscow. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I got 1 more strategic move, right? 1, 2, 3. I got 1 more. I don't think we need to use the Leningrad HQ just yet. I don't think we do. Don't think it's necessary. But we obviously want to prepare for a counteroffensive. We're gonna launch a counteroffensive for sure on Ryazk on the next turn. That much we can definitely do. And we got these armored core available. Let's do it. We got some mech units. Let's see. Do I got another? Nope. I got cavalry unit there. All these units here on this sector definitely need to regain all this territory that's been lost, for sure. But I'm thinking Moscow. We need I need at least 1 more unit. 1, 2, 3. I need 1 more. I have 1 more strategic move left. I got this 19th army here, super valuable. Maybe I got to transfer this to Moscow. It's gonna take a long time to get there though. It's gonna take a very long time, but it's like it's just the right kind of unit that we need. I'm gonna go ahead and move this unit, this 34th right there. The situation here in the south is abysmal as far as I can tell. But like I want to make sure this 5th is reinforced. I don't know. I really don't know. What's the best option here? Maybe move this 31st. Maybe try to move it to Moscow like that. Yep, that's probably the best option there. Make sure we got a strong reserve of units around Moscow. Okay. September, let's start with Soviet production 57. Build up all the HQs for sure. That's the first thing. And then that leaves us with 27 production points left. Focus on building up the infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12. Let's look at our dead pile. It's pretty big. We definitely need to like build up cavalry, armor, mech. So a couple of mech units would be handy. The most important thing to build up, though, is definitely the infantry and the cavalry both. Like you kind of just want to have these units built up at all times. I've noticed it's just much more economical if we do. But because the fighting's getting more dense around Moscow, I'm thinking we probably want to have more like mech formations, or maybe even build some armored units that we can use to counterattack from Kalinin. Try to put pressure on the German flank rather. At best, defense is a good offense, right? So, anyways, I had 27. Now I'm down to 15 production points. Build up all the infantry reserves that we can. With 15, I'm thinking let's try to build up like maybe these 2 cavalry units. Maybe just build up 1 and 1 like that. That's 10. Put them in Kalinin. I'm thinking maybe we should put an armored unit there in Kalinin too. We got these 3 Soviet tank armies. Hold on. I'm thinking let's invest. We've got what I think 15 production points left over, right? Let's invest in these armored units, build those up. So now that leaves us with 3 production points left over. And then the 3, I mean, I'll go ahead and Stalingrad is even really vulnerable. Let's go ahead and build up this cavalry unit here. It's kind of a pointless build, but given the fighting that's happened, we need more reinforcements around Moscow, right? We have a skeletal defense here. Very vulnerable for sure. Good news is that we could pull back. Like if necessary, I could pull these units back, and that could buy us a little bit more time. If we give up some territory over here, if it means trying to save Moscow, right? Those 3 production points are very valuable. I'm thinking, is there anything else I can do? Not really. There's not really much more I can build. We got other HQs and other parts of the front. They're just kind of under strength. I mean, we could launch an amphibious invasion on Mariupol, but like we kind of have to take Rostov first. The Axis control this area, the sea. So maybe we should have pulled out of Rostov, I'm thinking. What was the last strategic move that I did? I don't really remember. Did I even do an extra strategic move? Yeah. But yeah, we definitely need to build up like more units. I think these last remaining Soviet units, we're actually going to just try to fill in the gaps here in the as far as like manpower goes. Axis production, let's do that. Very strong production, 91 now because we took Voronezh. So let's go ahead and focus building up all the HQs. That leaves us with 51 production points. Now focus on infantry. Well, let's build up this fortress unit here. Now we're down to 41. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh man, 10. I'm thinking there. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Not a bad setup. This mech unit or this armored core should definitely be built up as well, I'm thinking. But the most important thing is that our infantry are being built up. That's without a doubt the most valuable thing that we can do is make sure we have plenty of strong infantry. Yeah, that's it. That's all we can build up. Oh, we never did dang it, I never did this battle up here in the north. I totally forgot about that. Forgot about that. Do I go ahead and do it? Nah, I forgot. So it is what it is. Western Front production is at 12, a whole lot. Let's focus on building up infantry, I think. Try to build up 1, 2, 3 like that. So in case the British do launch an amphibious invasion, we are ready. We are ready to we're ready to do the operational needs that we got to do. Or maybe what, I'll cancel that. I'm going to build up militia, build up this 3, that's 6. I got 6 left. Not a whole lot we can build. I build up this mech unit. It's good for defensive operations, but I'd rather have like infantry for offensive operations. I guess just build up this other 2 mech, other two units, or maybe we just don't build up anything. Ideally we can build up an HQ, That's what I'm thinking. We definitely need more HQ builds as well. Maybe we don't build up anything this turn. Kind of a gamble there. But I think we can take that gamble. We're going to save the production for October. It's going to be a 12 production point gain on the Western Front. And then the Mediterranean Front is at 30. So we'll do the dice for that. Dice. We get 10 plus 6, that's 16 production points. Very nice. Let's go ahead and build up that Italian army, which costs 12 to build up. Oh, dang it. Did I not? I could have sworn this unit was deployed here. Then we're going to put that there. And then the last 4 that we have, let's go ahead and, I guess, build up this Panzer army, or maybe this Italian army could be built up. This Italian militia probably has no chance of surviving. Let's focus on the paratroopers. They seem to be the most valuable defensive position. That's it for the Axis. We're gonna now switch over to the the British and the Americans. Their production. Let's start with the Mediterranean Front. Same as the Axis, 30, right? Really at 30? I thought it would have been more. I think it was at 20 in 41, 25 in the winter, and then now it's at 30 in the summer. Yeah. 10 plus 10 is 20. Very nice. Let's go ahead and build up this HQ. Probably should build up this militia unit, but I kind of want to build up the reserves, supreme moves. So that leaves us with 5 production points left over. Can I build anything with 5? Don't think I can. Dang it. That's 10. Yeah, 10, 20. I think it's important that we have strategic moves available. Keep that HQ, that theater HQ operate, like activated, built up. On the Western Front, we've got 22 production. Let's go build up 2 HQs. Pretty straightforward build there. And now we're ready to launch an operation if we want to on the Western Front, and we probably should. The question is where do we strike, right? Where do we attack? I have no idea. But I'm thinking, like, let's try to go for, like, Pas de Calais, Put some pressure on Calais, see if it works, see if the Germans actually prepared a defense there or not. Or we can try to hit Ostend. Could also work. I think that might be a good target, is try to go for Ostend. Or go for Le Havre. Or Dieppe. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. I think we're going to start this turn with a bang. Maybe we can, like, declare war on Vichy France and maybe start shifting gears to Vichy France. I think I'm going to wait until the historical kind of scenario there and wait until the Americans arrive and let the Americans do most of the invading. I don't think the British need to invade Morocco, Algeria, none of that, especially given that, like, this unit here doesn't have it technically is not a Mediterranean unit. So let me see how the stream is doing. Yeah, it's good. It's actually a little the lighting was a little dark. I can change the lighting up a little bit, open up this curtain here, get some lighting. Yeah, that's better. You can see my face a little better. But yeah, basically, yeah, the stream is still going. That's good. We're approaching the 2 hour mark, so I think I'm gonna try to do like one more turn. I'm thinking, or maybe I'll take a break. I might take a quick like 5-10 minute break here and then come back. Yeah, I might take a break here before we start the next month. I think we'll do probably the month of September. I'm sure if I take more breaks, I'll keep coming back, but I'm going to keep the stream running. But I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and then I will be right back. So, yeah, if you want to like pause the video here, or like skip, whatever, that works totally fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. I'm not gonna do any like major editing here. And then we'll see what the strategic plan is for the Allies, for the Axis. And then it's pretty clear the Soviets are just trying to hold out. So, yeah, on that note, BRB. All right, I am back. Let's see here. Make sure the stream is still going. Yep, still going. All right, so let's continue. Let us continue this turn. We'll start with the British. And I think the objective here is clear. We're going to put pressure on the Allies, on the Axis rather, as quickly and as swiftly as we can. I'm going to go ahead and first activate this 21st Army Group, and we're going to launch a full attack right here, full strength units. And I guess I'll put this. No, I guess we can leave that unit there. But we're going to just launch a full out attack east of Sirte. And it's the first really major operation that we've had since we've taken Benghazi and El Agheila. But we got to take this position first before we have any chance of pushing onto the main Axis defense, which looks like is concentrated at Misurata. And we got to take Sirte, Misurata, Homs, and eventually take Tripoli in order to take Libya, basically. Also, what I'm going to do is launch in a fib attack a position that is difficult for the Axis to reinforce. We're going to blitz. Do we attack on this turn or the next turn? We attack actually on the next turn. It's better to attack on the second fortnight rather than the first, so that we can respond accordingly. So we're not going to attack this turn. We'll attack on the next fortnight. That's it for the British. Let's go ahead and do the battle over here. See how it goes. I think the British do have double fire right now. We confirm that. Double fire, summer 42, nice. All right, so we'll roll, boom, the air power just clean sweeps the Italians. Italians sustain probably around 15,000 casualties, I would think, maybe 10,000. Simple victory there for the British. So that's that. Simple victory there. Now Sirte is kind of like contested in a sense. Neither side really controls it. I think technically the British do, because their zone of control is like the eastern half of this hex. So technically we've taken Sirte, but the main defensive line is at Misurata. It's not going to be easy, but I do feel confident that we can take it. We just need to make sure that our HQs are built up so we have more operational flexibility than the Axis do. All right, that's that. We'll switch over to the Axis now and see what the game plan is there. Western Front, nothing to really do there. Kind of a static defense. Our defense is decent. It's okay. But we could definitely use more, whatchamacallit? We could definitely use like more infantry being built up. These infantry armies infantry corps rather need to be built up. Defense of the northern France, basically. That's the main area that we got to work on. And if we can build up more Panzer Corps, all the better. So there's that. Now for the Eastern Front. Question is, do we attack Ryazk? I'm thinking we don't. We can just hold the line. Let's focus on Tula first. We're going to blitz. Activate Army Group Center here, and it's going to be a blitz. And the goal is to break through somewhere along the line. Take Tula. If we can take Kaluga, Mozhaisk, we're going to be in good shape to push onto Moscow. That's what I'm thinking. So we're going to blitz. I'm going to go ahead and activate OKH as well, I think, for more air support. The first attack on Kaluga is going to have to be with... we don't have any reserve armored corps, don't we? We don't have any reserve armored corps. Dang it. I probably should have built up this 48th Corps instead. 1, 2, yeah, they're out of range. The reserve Panzer Corps that we do have are actually out of strategic range right now. So that's actually not great. But we have a lot of Panzer concentrated on Mozhaisk, which I like to see. Let's go ahead and move this HQ up north so that we can blitz on Mozhaisk as well. We're going to pull out one of the infantry. And then I'm going to move, we'll pull out infantry and move it north. We're going to move this infantry, move it in. And then we got a lot of reserve infantry right now. We definitely want to reinforce more infantry into Tula for sure. I'm thinking the Soviets didn't reinforce, so I'm thinking we can actually pull out 2 infantry. Let's do that. Pull out 2 infantry. And then we're actually gonna attack with this infantry unit as well. Maybe we actually can move up the mech. It's not a bad idea just to establish a better defense. Yeah, let's go ahead and move this mech unit into Kaluga. Better defense. Highly doubt the Soviets can attack, but I don't know. I kind of want to send it in, or maybe that's kind of a bit dramatic. Let's just go ahead and send in an infantry unit. And then we're going to reinforce Tula with one infantry unit there. I think we're going to move up this armored core and put it into Tula as well, so that we have more hit bonuses. The idea being that I feel pretty confident we're not going to sustain too many casualties. Maybe we do. We're going to have to wait and see. But I'm thinking we don't need to send in so much infantry. So two in, two out. I got two other infantry units here available. Let's try to move these infantry like more to the north, I'm thinking. We got a strong defense there at Kaluga. That's looking really good. Yeah, pretty decent setup. Flanks are a little vulnerable. Let's go ahead and just do some strategic moves as well. I'm going to go ahead and what do I want to do? I think I want to move this Panzer Corps here. That's one strategic move. Army Group A. I mean, we could use it. We probably do want to use it if we're going to blitz and whatnot. So let's just make sure it's in range. So it's another strategic move. That's two strategic moves. I'm thinking let's move this mech core to the south. 1, 2, 3. Put it there. This infantry unit can go there. And the idea I'm thinking right now. Let's move up this infantry unit as well. 1, 2. Put it there. And I'm just thinking, so we did, I think I did 1, 2, 3 strategic moves. Okay, let's go ahead and I think OKH can still command units on the Western Front, I believe, but it's going to be at half efficiency, right? So let's go ahead and move this first corps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 2 strategic moves. So now we're at 5. And then the last one will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's going to arrive at Gommel. So we do have reinforcements on the way. But we're going to attack. We're attacking Kaluga with no panzer, just an infantry army. I really doubt we're going to break through, but we're going to start contesting that area. And we're slowly building up, refortifying Rezhev. Now, if we can fortify Rezhev, it's going to be really hard for the Soviets to break through from there. And we can always fall back to these swampy, foresty terrain areas and just kind of fall back and establish a defense there if necessary. So that's it. Airstrike here at Mozhaisk. And then the other airstrike is going to be at Tula. The idea is that we can take Tula on this turn and then really start exploiting a breakthrough towards Moscow. That's the game plan. For now, we're going to hold off an attack on Ryazk just because super well defended by the Soviets. So let's go ahead and do these 3 battles. Starting with the battle on Mozhaisk, we have a very good chance of succeeding here. Let's see. Airstrikes roll, scoring half a hit. Soviets roll, they score 3 hits. Ouch. 1, 2, 3. Out just like that. September. Soviets are still defending pretty well. 3 hits there for the against the Axis. The Panzers are going to roll. 1, 2. All right, we scored 3 more hits plus the airstrike. That's 4 hits. We scored 5 hits. We needed 6 to score the equivalent of 3 hits with double defense. So we scored 2 hits against the Soviets, rolling 5. Pretty even exchange here. The Soviets are at their breaking point. That's good news. At Mozhaisk, almost. Kaluga, strong Soviet defense there. They scored 2 hits. Germans are gonna roll. No hits. All right, so 2 more hits for the Axis. Axis casualties have been significant for sure. And the most important battle, the Battle of Tula, airstrike, no hits. Soviets roll, no hits. Very nice. And now the Panzers are going to roll. Okay, infantry, come on. One more hit, please. Dang it. We only scored 1 hit there. So the Soviets lose another 2. So that is that. That is that. Blitz phase, let's go ahead and do that. Very simple. Just pull out this German infantry units. And then we're going to move up this German corps. We're still going to attack with the 3 Panzer Corps. The Panzer Army is still going to push. Kaluga, I mean, super strong fortified position. I don't think there's a need to launch another attack there. We didn't lose any casualties at Tula, so no need to do any modifications there. Let's go ahead and move this mech unit way down south. And notice how I have 3 mech corps here in the south. It's the equivalent of like basically another kind of Panzer army. I'm not sure what exactly it is. Presumably, there's like maybe 1 Panzer division per formation here. So it's like 3 Panzer divisions, a lot of mobile infantry divisions, presumably. But that's what we want to establish a strong defense in this kind of open terrainy spot. As far as other units, other rotations, so on and so forth, I could try to make another attack on Kaluga. I'm thinking what we'll do is maybe put 1 infantry unit in. Go ahead and let it be this one, the 10th. And then I'm going to pull out 1 infantry unit and see if I can build it up on a later turn. I don't have any reserve Panzer armies. I mean, I do, but it's under strength. And I don't really have any other reserve Panzer armies, which is a dang shame. So I can't really maybe I could try to make an attack on Kaluga, but I'd rather hold off. I'd rather focus on taking Tula first. That's what I'm thinking. And then as far as HQs go, we can just do some modifications there. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely stacked high on like reserve units for sure. But I think the game plan is we only have 1 reserve infantry right now at full strength. It'd be nice if we had more than that for future battles. There's 1 over here, but it's out of range. But the rest are kind of ready for defensive operations. And I got this extra Panzer group here in the south. Not sure exactly what the game plan is for that. Let's go ahead and put this Panzer Corps here in Orel. Let's put the reserve Panzer Army, just leave it in Orel, I think. And then we got a reserve infantry army, pretty much. Let's put this infantry unit here. So yeah, reserve infantry army and somewhat of a reserve Panzer army that we could potentially use. I mean, we could even attack now, right? I mean, I put 1 unit in, 1 unit out. I mean, if I really wanted to, we cancel the 10th. Instead, move the 35th in there. And then if I really wanted to, I can move up another Panzer Corps. But I'm going to hold off on that for now and just really take our time, be as methodical as we can here. But we're going to put the airstrike on Tula, see if we can take Tula before the Soviets have time to reinforce. So OKH. Let me make sure I'm not skipping out any turns here in this sector. I don't think we are. The idea is we're going to fight tooth and nail for Tripoli and then find a way to pull out at the last minute. So probably what I actually need to do, I have the option, I have Army Group G over here. And I could try to do an amphibious invasion against Alexandria and so forth, but it's at level 0, so it's totally under strength. If I do a invasion, I need it to be a level 2 because it's moving across 2 bodies of water, 2 basins. But I'm thinking maybe we move Army Group G to Sicily and prepare to operationally withdraw from Tripoli, and we need an HQ for that, like a blitz withdrawal, basically. So it's kind of logistically kind of a tight spot here in the port of Tripoli. But the idea is we can preserve the Africa core, have it defend southern Italy, basically. I don't want it defeated in North Africa. I'd rather have it pull out. So I would need this HQ available, and I would need to move it to Catania, and I need to start building that up. So it's going to take time. And then there's, of course, the whole defense over here in France, which also takes up a lot of HQs and whatnot against British operations. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's go ahead and do the Battle of Moshaizk. Soviets roll, no hits. Panzers will roll. They score 1 hit. Infantry, nothing. So, again, the Soviets are at their breaking point in Moshaizk. Soviet casualties are strong. I don't know if I counted any additional German casualties. If I did, I don't think I marked it. I know there was 2 here. There was 3 here. That was 5. Yeah, okay. Battle Tula, 1 air hits. Soviets roll, no hits. Yeah, the Soviets just did not have the morale needed to defend Tula. Those Soviet units are probably in really bad shape. All right, and the Germans do score the necessary 4 hits needed to secure Tula, just like that. Nice win. We needed that win for the Germans. So Soviets lose another 4 because of the cadres. And the Germans successfully took Tula. That's pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and deactivate Army Group Center now. And I think we are now ready we took 1 of the 4. And we're about to take another one. I don't know how soon we can take Kaluga, but the point is we are making progress towards Moscow. It is slow. It's been monotonous, grinding, attritional battles, but we finally took Tula. The Soviets did not succeed at defending it. Going to go ahead and update the German production too. Now at 92 because we've gained, whatchamacallit, we've gained Tula. So that's it for the Germans. We'll switch over to the Soviets. What do the Soviets want to do? We clearly need to focus, tighten up our defense around Moscow for sure. Kaluga, I think, can hold the line for a little longer. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and activate the Western HQ. And what I'm going to do is just pour in these other units into these 2 other armies into Moshaizk. And it's going to be like a new Stalingrad, kind of, but in foresty terrain. And the idea is that we can do everything in our power to survive against the German onslaught that is coming our way towards Moscow. 22nd Army should probably fall back to Ryazan. Now, this possible the Germans do launch an amphibious invasion across the Oka River and push onto Ryazan. We do have the amphibious, repulse, but outside of that, we really don't have anything to really hold off. The German invasion, basically, the ability for the Germans to invade. So I'm thinking, unfortunately, it may be time to abandon Ryazk. As much as I want to hold on to it for as long as possible, I'm thinking the wisest thing to do right now is to pull out. Now, we do have these Soviet tank armies, right? And it's like we should probably consider using them in some kind of counteroffensive operation. The problem is that we don't really have the HQs available for that. Like, it's hard to even deploy them. But we could try to launch a counterattack there. It's going to be a little too late. Unfortunately, Tula has already fallen. So the critical moment to counterattack is effectively gone. But I'm thinking like we should maybe pull back some of these shock armies, right? Let them fall back, let them recuperate. And then what I can do is send in these tank armies into Ryazk and basically try to achieve a decisive win against the Germans. The Germans are dug in pretty deeply, so I don't know. It's a hard kind of operational situation for the Soviets. But the idea is we should use these tank armies sooner rather than later. And the game plan here is to counterattack. That's the game plan. Try to counterattack, try to gain as much territory as we can, and try to keep the Germans off guard. You can go ahead and activate this Ukrainian HQ and send these two tank armies, the 5th and the 2nd, into Ryazk. I don't know. Do we attack now against the Germans? Try to like break through, maybe inflict some casualties. Chances are the Germans are going to be able to follow up with their own counter attack, right? And so it might be too little, too late to launch this attack, unfortunately. And the flanks are kind of vulnerable. So I am thinking like maybe the best thing to do is not launch this attack, but like withdraw. If we do withdraw, we are exposing ourselves to even more risk of German progress, right? We're giving up valuable territory, but I just don't want to lose these Soviet formations if at all possible. I'd rather avoid that. So I'm thinking maybe we just pull back. This first guard army, I mean, we're gonna retreat, but it may get chased down from the Germans. You know, we're opening up the German supply lines. We're abandoning Ryazk. I don't think that's the wisest move, but like counterattacking, it's also a bit inconvenient, frankly. So it's a messy, it's definitely a messy operational process that we're trying to do. I think we should attack. So I pulled out two shock armies. I'm gonna go ahead and just move up this 22nd and move it in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move just one, I think just one of the tank armies. Since we already have another tank army there, we're gonna move up one of the tank armies, not both. And see if we can make some. Probably also want to fortify this eastern part of whatchamacallit, of Ryazk as well. I'm thinking two shock armies pulling up, 2 units are moving in, this infantry is moving in. I don't really have any other reserves. This unit moved up north. These 2 infantry units are moving into Mozhaisk. I mean, Moscow is vulnerable, is the main point. It's super vulnerable. I'm gonna move up these like cadre infantry. Oh, we got a mech unit there. Oh, I could have built that up. Dang it. Did not. And then I don't know. This tank army, super valuable. If the Germans do hit it, I mean, I think I'm just gonna put it here. And then we are gaining territory for the Soviets. This territory, these areas are going to be gained. But we are in range of other German units, so it's kind of a gamble. Maybe what I'll do instead is this tank army will attack from the north. And then this shock army is going to pull back right there. That seems pretty good. We have some reserves, 2 tank armies, a shock army, and we'll see how the attack goes. But like we desperately need more reinforcements around Moscow. It would appear to me we could use at least one more like infantry army, I would think. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to activate Stavka, and I'm going to just move this 19th army, and we're gonna move it by rail all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh gosh, let's go this way. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, like so. And I think that setup basically allows us to have another infantry army in reserve, which we kind of desperately need to establish a good defense. So that's one strategic move I can do. The other strategic move I can do, that's 2 strategic moves rather. Maybe I move up this 3rd tank army right there, thinking. And then we need one more unit, which I don't have. Is Leningrad HQ. Also not a bad idea, given that we only have 2 HQs right now. in the sector. I'm thinking probably try to move up this like cavalry unit. I'm thinking something like that. Try to get it to the sector over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe like that. So if the Germans do attack, we'll probably leave it there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe try to move up one more unit. I think that's it. That's all we got. So 2 units are moving up. These 2 units. Maybe we like try to move up another infantry unit, maybe. I don't know. I think these 4 infantry armies can probably expand and retake these territories. I'm thinking the cavalry unit would be really valuable in these areas as well. These cadre probably should be built up in supporting that expansion as we try to retake that territory. It'd be good to build up some mech units too. But we are going to counterattack. I do have 2 HQs activated. I don't know if there's another sort of area that I want to launch a battle. I don't know. Doesn't really seem like I can. So I'm thinking actually like maybe this shock army should be closer to Moscow. I don't know. Or just leave it here on the flank. Again, not great, not terrible sort of situation we have here. Ukrainian HQ, I'm probably going to have it fall back to Penza. And I'm thinking like, oh, we got one more strategic move left. Probably should move the at HQ, I'm thinking. And have that just like available for defending Moscow. Or we try to like pull these units back. We could try to do that as well. And just shorten the front line. We'll probably unlock some units. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. Not the best Soviet move, especially that 2 HQs are activated, but we're only doing 1 area of combat. We're trying to attack here, right? Are we trying to attack? I don't know. Maybe we should like hold out. I think we should probably just, as much as I want to attack, I'm thinking we should hold out and give our other units time to rebuild. That's what I'm thinking. I think the shock army actually can actually fall back up here. And then this tank army can move directly from the east. Yeah, that should be the best setup, I think. So we're not going to attack. No attacks. I really don't want to attack until I feel absolutely ready. Also, I'm pretty sure the Soviets gained we had one more freaking tank army. Totally forgot about. Let's go ahead and deploy it. I guess I'm going to have to wait on the next turn to deploy it. But yeah, it's like we're missing a Soviet tank army. Forgot to even deploy it. Dang it. That would have been kind of helpful. All right, so that's it for the Soviets. Moving on to the next 4 nights. Start with the British. Soviets are spending a lot on HQs, that's for sure. We're going to go ahead and do an amphibious invasion. We're going to go for Ostend. This is an invasion HQ, and it's a blitz HQ. And we're going to launch 2 invasion waves. We're also going to do an amphibious invasion, or aerial assault, too. Paratrooper HQ. It's going to help. And it's going to maximize our chances of successfully pulling off this landing. So that's the game plan. We have air support too. Airstrike 3, attacking with 2 units. It's pretty good. I think it's the equivalent of like, what, 7 divisions right now? Pretty good. Let's see how it goes. This is an amphibious invasion site. Sea assault. I think the chances of repulsing a sea assault are 1. With amphibious units, if it's naval parity, it's 1 or 2, but because we have an air assault as well, it's going to be a repulsive of 1. So we have a very high chance of of landing here. It's just going to keep the Germans busy. That's the main goal. And then we should have a good plan to pull out if necessary. So let's do the airstrike. One hit, very nice, against the 84th Corps. I guess I'll count that for German casualties. Just put it at, I don't know, maybe like 5,1 or something like that. I don't think the Germans are going to succeed here. They score no repulses, and now the Allies roll, and they score yet another hit. Very nice. So that's really nice. Super nice breakthrough there. And now we can do the blitz phase. HQ is reduced. Paratrooper is going to be deactivated. The landings were successful. And we still have air support, which is really, really, really nice. So let's do it. I think the air power is going to do it. Yep. The air power clears the way. Germans have sustained 3.5. Something along the, what is that, like, I think it's about 77,000 casualties at Ostend. Oh, and we also can send another unit forward too, duh. Let's send a mech unit in as well. And that's it. That's the British landing, another successful Ally landing. Very successful. And then we're going to deactivate the HQ. It's going to be very hard for the Germans to counterattack, especially if we establish a beachhead, which we will. Keep our units in supply. We don't even need the beachhead necessarily, but if the Axis do attack, we probably will. So yeah, we've got 11 units, all double defense, super strong British defense. I think we're looking pretty good. Mediterranean front, I don't think we're going to advance. We're going to wait until this HQ is built up before we make any more advances. But yeah, that was a good operation. We'll switch over to the Axis now. See how they respond. Bad situation for the Axis, very bad situation. We lost a valuable unit. I think we need to counterattack, right? Like we need to counterattack, don't we? We also lost some production here. We lost Brussels and we lost Lille. That's 5 production points gone. Actually, yeah, 5 production points gone. Technically 2 are going to the British right now. British gain 2. And the Axis lose, they lose 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their resources are doubled. But we're going to activate Army Group E and try to get some units. We don't have any units in range right now. This is a no bueno situation. I think we need to activate OKW. If we're going to launch a counterattack, we need like more units, and we just don't have any right now. So I'm thinking the wisest thing to do is let the British hold on to that area, but let's do everything in our power to like reinforce the surrounding regions so that we can like dig in and fortify. So this like Panzer Army can go here. I've got another Panzer Army here as well. I'm going to leave it in Kabarai. This unit actually can go here. Where was it? I don't know where it was originally. Hold on. Where was it originally? All right, it was in Orleans. Orleans. I'm going to put it here instead. And we're going to still activate OKW. This 90th is going to move to Brussels. This Army Group G is going to move to Mons in Belgium. Then we're also going to move up this infantry units, I guess, to Rouen. I guess this Panzer Corps needs to move to Lille. And we're going to have to like prepare. It's going to give the British time to send another unit in there. I just don't think if we attack with 2 units, we have a chance of succeeding. Plus the British counterattack, it's not a good look. Strategic moves, that was 1. Here's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, that's another strategic move. Let's move this guy. 1. So that's 3 strategic moves that I've done so far. Maybe I can move this guy by rail, actually. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, dang it. Hold on, I can't even. No, I can't even move that unit through there. Wait a minute. Logistically, it's a bad situation. Bottleneck, because all these areas are under uh, British control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it did make it. Let's go move this unit. Just one unit. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's it. We can't even move it to Lille, which is a big no-no. So that's super awkward, actually. Move up OBW. So all our units are totally spread out right now. 1, 2, 3 strategic moves. Lille is very vulnerable. Technically, so is if the British decide to break out. I mean, they could make some really good headway right now. I'm thinking ideally we can have all the other areas fortified, including Caen. She probably should have Caen fortified as well with another unit. And I don't really have any other unit available. So I did 2 strategic moves, 3 strategic moves so far. I have 1 more left. I may have to abandon Saint Nazaire or move this mech unit rather and move it by rail as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, I guess. Yeah. So we have a skeletal defense. We don't have enough firepower to really break through, but we have established all our production again. So that's pretty good. And then like OKW, yeah, we need like air support, combat support. We need a lot of things right now. But I'm thinking it's a pretty decent setup. Do we have any German reinforcements? We probably did. Oh, in September we had another fortress that we could have deployed. Dang it, I totally forgot about that. That would have been actually really helpful. Totally forgot about that. So that explains why the British landing was so damn successful. They probably would have landed before we even deployed our fortress. We could have deployed it preemptively, and we didn't. So that was a bad call. I didn't look at the reinforcements. I forget that. Seems like a lot. But anyways, it's still an interesting game. 1, 2. So I did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 strategic moves. Now we desperately need like reinforcements, and we need to really prepare to launch a counterattack against the British. So that's it. That's all we got for this fortnight. Now the second fortnight on the Eastern Front. I think we can now focus on Kaluga. That's what I'm thinking. And we could probably do another blitz. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do another blitz, see how it goes, see if we can make some headway. I've got a lot of units. Let's pull out this infantry units. Pull that unit out. Send in 2 Panzer Corps. Maybe I should send another Panzer Corps into Mozhaisk. I'm thinking also not a bad idea. No full strength infantry over there. Blitzing is a definite gamble for sure. But I'm going to attack with as many full strength units as I can against Kaluga. We could also try an amphibious invasion. I think I'm going to hold off on that. I just highly doubt it's going to work. The mech unit should probably be over here and not so down south. Something else that I could have probably modified as well. We got a reserve Panzer Corps and a reserve infantry, and I have no idea where to put it. Let's put the Panzer Corps, let's move it down south here. These 2 infantry units can move up. I guess we should try an amphibious invasion. I highly doubt it's going to work, but I'm like, maybe we should try it anyways. I think we have enough room for error for that. And I got 1 more reserve infantry I can use for the Battle of Kaluga. if I need to rotate these 2 units, which I probably will. 2 units, I can actually, I guess I'll hold off on that. Um, so yeah, definitely a bit of a pickle. I'll move up this panzer group over here on the flanks, just kind of preparing myself for what I assume to be an inevitable Soviet counteroffensive in the sector. Army Group North, let's actually move it up north, I think. And consider making attacks on the northern flank. We don't have a panzer army in that sector, because I'm trying to take Muga, and then the other panzer army that I have here is kind of dedicated. I have 2 panzer armies basically defending the eastern flank, and then I got another 2 that are basically attacking. It's a pretty good setup, but we would need like a 5th one if we want to attack Kalinin. But my goal is still to secure these 4 areas, or at least 3 of the 4. And our chances of taking Moscow are going to be pretty high, I think. So yeah, there's that. We're going to blitz. I got another Army Group North in reserve, so depending on how the weather is on the next turn, we presumably can still attack. Go ahead and do that. We're going to put in an airstrike marker. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it at Kaluga, because I really want to shatter the Soviet defense there. We'll see how it goes. In the Mediterranean front, nothing. There's really no operational moves that I want to do. I could try to counterattack the British right now, but I think it's better to let them come to us. But like we definitely need to like get our units in position and like protect the flank, right? Like we don't want the British crossing this area too soon. So I'm thinking, let's go ahead and deploy the second Panzer, our second paratrooper, and put it over here. It's going to guard the flank. I think that's what I want to see. And then this infantry army can move up, and then this militia unit probably should move up as well. Maybe I'll have it defending Homs. Buys a little bit of time there. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and do the battle now. The battle's around Moscow. We are making head good. I could try to attack Ryazk, but I'm going to hold off, just out of concern of Soviet counterattacks. Soviet defense on Mozhaisk. Let's roll the dice. They score 2 hits against the infantry. Germans are going to roll. Nice. We score 2 hits against the Soviets. We're still in September, right? Yep. Let's do the Battle of Kaluga. Let's see how this goes. Airstrikes, no hits. Soviets roll. They score 2 hits. All right, that's good. Could have been a lot worse for the Germans. Now the Germans are retaliating. Panzer score a hit. Infantry, no hits. Okay, we only scored 1 hit there. Dang it. Blitz, let's go ahead and blitz. We need more infantry to like sustain our offensive momentum. I could have moved up this 52nd and I did not. So unfortunately, I am short of 1 infantry unit right now to attack. So I'm going to move up the 10th over here. We're going to pull back this unit. I guess I'll just move it north. Then I'm going to move up. So 1 unit's going to move up there. I'm going to go ahead and pull out 1 infantry unit here. Move up this infantry unit there, like that. Got a lot of HQs stacked up there. Yeah, I could have moved up that infantry and I forgot. Oh, and I probably could have moved up this 11th as well. Yeah, I could have definitely had him move up. It wasn't the best German turn. I made some mistakes there. But let's airstrike on Kaluga still. And let's go for it. Airstrike, 1 hit, half hit. Soviets roll, scoring 3 hits. Ouch. 1, 2, 3. Germans are going to roll. We score 1, 2, 3. We score 4 hits. Nice. So I think the Germans lost 3 more. The Soviets lost 2 more. All right. And then now the Battle of Mozhaisk. Let's see how this goes. Wow. 3 hits for the Soviets. Nice. The Germans still, though, score 2 more hits. All right. So pretty even exchange there. Yeah, almost like neck and neck as far as casualties. That's it for the Germans. The Soviets are still holding the line, but casualties are mounting. If we look at like the total casualties starting in July, the Soviet casualties in June 42 were really high, right? That was about 1 million casualties in June, but that was because of these battles over here, right? But the other remaining casualties that the Germans have sustained and the Soviets both have been around Tula, Kaluga, Moshaizk, and Ryazk, right? So if I add up these casualties, I think we're starting to approach 1 million. For the Soviets, I'm seeing, what is that, 23 plus 15 is 38. Yeah, I think it's another 1 million casualties for the Soviets. The Axis sustained a lot of casualties too. The Germans lost, let's see, 28 times 22 in the June battles. They lost about 600,000 casualties. Plus, for the last 3 months, it looks like it's at 33. 726. So I count for the Axis around like a little over 1.3 million German casualties on the Eastern Front in 1942, in summer 1942. So the casualties have been notably high for the Germans for sure in the summer period. In fact, more than it was in Barbarossa. If we look at the Barbarossa casualties for the Germans, I'm seeing around, what is that, 33 plus 12 is 45. I think the Germans are at about 1 million for Barbarossa. And now they're at like 1.4 million in 42. So it's a very different campaign. Somehow I would have believed that the Germans could have sustained the casualties. Apparently they can. Economically, they can. So whatever the German army is doing in 42 right now, it's a massive reserve program that the German army is implementing to sustain these casualties. And they seem to be doing a decent job. I mean, Soviets in both sides are sustaining very heavy losses, but the Germans are making headway. So there's that. Let's switch to the Soviet side now. And then I think I want to keep playing. We'll see. I don't want the stream to be too dang long, but if you guys are enjoying this stuff, again, big like, comments, any of that stuff helps the algorithm, and I do appreciate you guys enjoying the videos. So I think the Soviets are going to do nothing on this turn. We probably should do something. We definitely should for the Soviets, but the Soviets are in bad shape right now. Except for this one massive defense we have at Ryazk. I think we can even try to counterattack there. But like as far as the Western defenses go, they are crumbling against the German pressure. So we need to do something to reinforce, right? Might go ahead and activate the Lenin HQ. No, let's not do that. Let's I don't want to activate Stavka. It's at level 1. Western HQ, I'd rather be at level 2. Let's go activate the Baltic HQ. And I think the only thing that we can do is reinforce. Put it here in Moscow. And we need a shock army in Moshaizk. I mean, the Soviet armies here are fighting tooth and nail to hold the line. But at this rate, we're just not going to be able to keep up with the war of attrition in that sector. We desperately need a shock army to move up and reinforce that area. I'll move up the 19th Army. I got 2 shock armies in reserve. Let's move another one to Moscow. And then we could use more units. Let's put the airborne units here in Ryazan. And then we've got this third tank army. But yeah, we're just trying to fortify as best we can. Take HQ. I think I'll leave it there. Or yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Or maybe I'll put it over here, I think, actually. All right, that's it for the Soviets. We're not even reinforcing Kaluga right now, which to me is insane. We probably should. We probably should, bro. Like, if we lose Kaluga, it's even worse. And I don't know if we can survive another German onslaught like that. They fought very well. They inflicted a lot of casualties on the on the Germans for sure, but I just don't think we can sustain our losses like this. I'm also thinking we should probably counterattack on Riaz. I just don't want to wait. I don't want to attack and then they have the attack fail, but we probably should right now launch a counterattack. And I'm moving a shock army north to Moscow so that it can reinforce Moshaizk, but that shock army should probably move its way into Kaluga. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull back this shock army. And then that shock army is moving north. No, don't pull it out just yet. How many? Oh, I got all 4 shock armies here. 2 in reserve, 2 operating, 1 sustained heavy losses. The wisest thing to do would probably be to move this 19th army to Kaluga. If we lose Moshaizk, I mean, it's very unfortunate. The Germans are in range of striking directly the city of Moscow. We probably don't want that either. But we just need to buy more time. These three Soviet armies are not going to hold out, not by themselves. There's no way. There's no way, Jose, they're going to hold out. Maybe I can put this unit here, deployed over there, right? I'm not exactly sure where it was originally, but it should be able to move all these other units still. Move them around. 1 north, 1 into Kaluga, another into Ryazan. And then the last move I can do. Why is this unit? Oh my gosh. We desperately need reinforcements. At Moshaizk especially. And I don't feel like I have the reserves right now. I don't want to like send the shock army into the front line if I don't have to. I'd rather have it available for Kaluga. I think what we need to do is have a panzer, have a tank army move up. It's a bad situation for the Soviets. Is the bottom line. It is a very, very inconvenient situation. Can I pull out any other reinforcements from any other sector? Not really. Not really. I don't have any other reserves. And I don't want to use Stavka right now. At level 1, I mean, that's just, I don't think that's the wisest. We have to. We may have to. I could also move this 19th, dump it into Moshaizk, then move the shock army, dump it into Kaluga, and to just desperately hold the line. But as you can see, we got like no operational reserves here. And I think it's like maybe I gotta move up this cavalry unit too, or this tank army, something. Maybe I pull back this shock army, put it here. So I got 2 shock armies in 1 spot. That's not ideal. And then we're gonna attack with this tank army. I think that's the best plan we've got. And we'll see how this attack goes. The Germans have a very powerful reserve, but presumably their units are sustaining casualties. Like if our formation here falls, there's nothing that we can do to save the rest of the front. That's what I'm concerned about. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to move the shock army in. Nope. I'm going to move it to the north instead. This shock, maybe that thing stays back there. No, the 2 shock armies, the 4th and the 2nd, should definitely be in Moscow and Ryazan. I'm just thinking, like, what about Kaluga, right? Maybe we send in the tank army into Kaluga, which kind of defeats our entire operational strategy here of saving it for a counteroffensive. And then we're kind of just wasting it away in a defensive operations. I mean, cost-wise, it's unwise to do it that way. And attritionally, it's going to be, I presume it's going to be a relatively consistent war of attrition, but it may buy us a little bit more time. And we'll see how the weather is too. It might be mud on the next turn. We'll see how the weather goes. Yeah. But yeah, definitely far from ideal setup. Far from ideal. Like we desperately need more. And I want to attack here so badly. But I feel like if we attack and the attack fails, sooner or later we're going to have to attack. I mean, inevitably we're going to have to attack if we want to change the situation right now. We got to put pressure on the Germans somewhere. And it's like, man, if this attack fails, we're going to be in for a world of pain if the Germans do inflict heavy casualties on us. It's a huge gamble. It's a huge gamble. I'd rather wait for the winter before we launch these attacks. I'm saying just be patient, buy a little bit more time before we start launching counterattacks. But of course, or launch a counteroffensive rather, before we do anything, and just focus on building up the reserves. All right, let's do Soviet production. It's at 57. We need to build up everything, basically. Shock armies, ground units, you name it. We got to build up as many units as we can. This shock army, I probably should have rotated. Hold on, before I do that, I'm thinking, oh no, we can't even pull that unit out, never mind. Yeah, it's gonna have to go in. All right, so let's build up, build this guy up, build this guy up. That's 8, 12, 14, 20. I'm gonna build up that mech unit too. So we're at 20 production points. Build up our HQs. Try to build up all 3 ideally. I think I can only build up 2 right now. So we're at 40. We got 17 left. And I think the idea here is to build up cadre. If we can. Build up more cadre. Yeah, do something like that. Ideally, like maybe build up another armored unit somewhere. Also, let's not forget about the Soviet Reserve. This unit here. Where do I want to put that? Where can I put it? I guess in Kalinin. Instead of building up the cavalry, I'm going to actually swap this out for a mech unit. We need a little bit more defense. 3 infantry units plus a mech unit. It's not a bad buy. Put the mech unit here. The armor unit's going in Kalinin. Let's go ahead. Do I have any level 4 infantry? I do have one there. Let's put it there. Or maybe I should build up like another armored unit. 2 armored units. Could do some serious damage against the Germans. Yeah, the armored units are very valuable. Very valuable buy. But I'm thinking like we got to build up the whole reserve force pool first, right? That's what we should do. If we want to counterattack, regain some lost territory. I mean, everywhere else looks pretty stable for now. We can regain a lot of territory if we had like more mobile units. We need more mobile units. I got a lot of infantry over here, but they're not doing anything, right? They're just kind of a static reserve. They're not. I can't even deploy them because the Stavka is so weak right now. So let's cancel this. Let's build up this infantry here. Now I have 10 production points left. I'm thinking maybe build a mech and an infantry. Let's do that. I'm going to pass on the cavalry buys and just focus on mech and infantry. 1 more infantry unit. Nowhere, where can I even put it? I guess in Kalinin. And then there's 1 extra mech reserve. Again, this flank is not doing anything. The mechs are better suited for defensive operations. And it's like, where do I want to deploy this? I have no idea. I can put it here in Saratov. Not Saratov. Dov. Presumably the Germans can counterattack, though. I'm thinking the best thing to do is build up a armored reserve if we can. So maybe cancel this mech build. I would have to cancel an infantry build somewhere as well. Which I don't want to do. Like, do not skip out on mech builds. I'm also thinking like this airborne unit, I could switch it to defensive operations. It would be very valuable. It would be cheaper for sure if I did it that way. But I kind of want to hold off on that. I need 2 more production points, and I don't see it right now. Maybe here in Penza? Not sure. I mean, that seems to be the most reasonable, but again, just a massive Soviet army, or Soviet front rather, totally like useless at the moment because they're so static. And it's like we need more manpower. And I want these units to be built up if I can. So it's like it's kind of a hard kind of call to make. But like right now, clearly we need to concentrate manpower rather than building up new units. Probably better if we build up the units that we currently have. That might be the best move. But if we want to regain all this territory, we need mobile units. These infantry units are not going to cut it. I think I need to move these manually over to Moscow and have them just throw them into the meat grinder. And they may not be enough, right? They may not be enough. Let's go ahead and do that. Build up Stalingrad, build up Saratov, and leave it at that. That's the best plan I have right now. It's far from ideal. Far from ideal, and we didn't really send in too many reserves here. I mean, we could have also built up more reserve armies over here. You know, Rybinsk, Yaroslav, Ivanovo. Maybe we should do that. With 6 left to build. Yeah, I guess build up Stalingrad. Or maybe Saratov. And then 1 more infantry unit. We'll put it in Yaroslav like that. It's better than nothing. And just try to build up our reserves if we can. I could also try to skim out on Stavka HQ production, but you don't want your HQs going all the way down to 0. And this Baltic HQ should probably be built up as well. I think this is October. Probably should build that up as well. Yeah, I feel like I'm not doing the best Soviet setup right now, but it's all I can think of at the moment. We only have like 1 HQ available. We may have to accept the fact that these areas are about to fall, and I just need to like fall back a little bit. The Soviet line is crumbling under the German pressure for sure. Let's switch to the German side. Germans are at 92 production points. Build up 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 52 left. I guess let's see. I would rather focus like just all on infantry builds if I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think. Is that right? Yeah. And so, yeah, the Germans pretty much replenish all their losses. 13 times 22 is like how many troops is that? 286,000 reinforcements the Germans received. It's pretty good. That's substantial. The equivalent of a whole another German army reinforcing the Eastern Front. Yeah, I think as far as the war of attrition goes, 1942 seems like the Germans actually had potentially the ability to sustain their attritional losses in 42. I don't know if that's historically accurate or not, but in this game, that seems to be the case. Germans are sustaining the losses. The Soviets are also trying to sustain their losses. And like both sides are kind of in this gridlock, but territorially, the Soviets are losing ground significantly. So there's it. Let's do the Mediterranean front production. That's 10 plus, and that's 19. Let's go ahead and build up the Africa Corps. And then maybe build up this infantry army. That's 16 production points. And I think that's it. Africa Corps is at full strength too. And I think we're just trying to build up for a counterattack. The Western Front situation is pretty bad. I think they reestablished the supplies though, so that's good. It's very good. So we're at 24 production for the month of October. And we need to build up more units. Let's also deploy the reinforcements the Germans had, including this fortress units. I don't know if we should send that fortress unit over to the Eastern Front or not. Probably should leave it here on the Western Front and probably put it in Dieppe. That's what we're thinking here. But with 24 production points, we can build up like this infantry, build up this panzer, build up both panzers. So that's 16, 20. Oh, we never deactivated this HQ. Oh, we need to really build up the HQs as well. Dang it. Situation for the Germans on the west. Up 1. That's 4. Probably should build up at least OKW. Now we're at 14. We have 10 production points left. Let's go ahead and build up this group. No, we have 10 left, right? Build up this mech unit and this militia unit. That's 9. And that's it. I mean, yeah, let's put this over here. We needed to build up that militia unit for sure. Other militia units they don't really need to be built up. They're kind of cost ineffective, but yeah, we may be able to launch a counterattack, but we should probably like prioritize that actually. Hold on, I'm gonna cancel these builds. I did 10, 14. I have 10 left. Not a whole lot. Maybe we cancel Mediterranean front production a little bit. That would actually help a lot if we did that. Of course, Mediterranean front a bit more difficult to protect. I'm thinking we should probably, we've already spent it over there. I don't want to do a re-roll, but I think on the next turn we'll do that. So let's see. I have 10 production points left. All I can really build right now is build up one of these German armored units, and then I can attack with 4 units. That's the idea. And we can attack right now. Presumably the British are going to be able to reinforce, though. If they were any wiser, they would. And so if I'm going to attack, I might as well attack with full strength units, right? So with 10 production points left, let's go ahead and build up this mech unit here. And then I guess we just have to build up another infantry. Yeah, let's just build this up. I think we're going to wait. It's going to be hard for the British to break out. So I don't think there's a real rush to hold the line. Yeah, the British have a beachhead, but they're not going to be able to exploit the beachhead very well. Their supply lines are going to be very vulnerable if they try to do that. So I'm thinking, let's take our time here and just make sure we're building up our reserves so that we can launch a good attack when the time is right. I think this mech unit is going to be the key to the success. It needs to be at full strength. And we can send the mech unit, the 2 Panzer Corps, infantry, or 2 infantry, something, to really establish a successful operation there. We also got to be conscious of the possibility of another allied amphibious landing somewhere else along the front, right? If they land in Brest, I mean, the Western Front is going to start collapsing, right? That's no bueno. So yeah, may even cancel like Eastern Front production to. I don't think we should. I mean, it's clearly paying off, but like we desperately need the Western Front needs to kind of be the priority, I think, right now, if we want to like keep the allies in check. We shouldn't just like put our guard down here. We should do everything we can to put pressure. We'll switch over now to the British, and they're doing pretty well, right? 30 on the Mediterranean front. That's 14 plus another 8. That's 22 production points. 10. That's really, what was that? What did I say? 18 or 14? Oh, it's 22. 10 plus 9. No, we're going to build up this unit here. Like that. Okay. We can also try to do like Syrian uprising. Yeah, didn't happen. So yeah, British are making steady progress in North Africa. It's October. I think the British do get some reinforcements, right? The Allies get some reinforcements. They sure do. We're going to put this American unit in Gibraltar. And then, yeah, we're going to be able to establish a landing with at least 2 corps in North Africa, which is going to be really good, really nice to see. And just make our way to Tunisia. That's going to be really cool. Got another beachhead ready. Very handy. Cool. All right. And then for British production, go ahead and build up this unit. Go ahead and build up. I think that will cost 10. We have 12 left. Nothing else to really build. I think we're just gonna, yeah, we didn't suffer any casualties. If the Germans are not going to contest, we can just easily transfer another unit over. Yeah, let's just build up the 2 HQs. All right. So how we're doing as far as time-wise goes? I think we're like at the 3-hour mark. Yeah. I'm thinking we probably, I don't know if I want to continue or not. I would love to continue the game. Good momentum so far. But I think I don't want the video to be too long. I mean, if it was a stream, right, we could definitely keep going. It is a stream. But like you know, I didn't make any announcements, so no one joined the stream. But I'm thinking that maybe do I continue or do I not continue? I don't know. Now that we're transitioning into like the autumn or the late fall of 42, I'm thinking we'll stop here. I'll stop here, or maybe take another break. I don't know. But like maybe play until the winter of 42. Once the winter really sets in, it's going to be a whole different strategic situation, right? For both sides. We'll see how it is on the Eastern Front. I think the Germans are much more prepared for the winter, but the mud season is really going to slow down everything, all the operations. So yeah, the British are ready to start their crusade into the second half of Libya. Really, just like the last third of Libya. Actually, they've taken about 2/3 of Libya already, but it's not going to be an easy fight, right? It doesn't look easy at all. Trying to push, and like maybe we have to go all the way around the flanks. The axes are dug in really well in West Libya for sure. It's not going to be an easy battle, I can tell you that much. We're probably going to have to blitz, and I want this unit to be built up at full strength. Maybe I cancel this build here, and then we build this up instead. We can blitz. and maybe go all out, attack with 3 units at Misurata and 1 unit on the flank. Um, we can only send in 1 unit at a time too. That's the other thing to keep in mind. Not an easy situation. No, we'll stick to what we had before. But yeah, it's a very tough defense to crack. Maybe we wait until the Allies, the Americans, land in whatchamacallit. They successfully land in in French North Africa. But we're about to on 2 fronts right now against the Germans. So the Allies are doing pretty well. And then of course there's just a grinding battle scene here on the east. About a 1.4 million German casualties so far, and I think the Soviet casualties, let's see, have been, what is that, 26, 38. It's been about 2 million casualties actually for the Soviets, 1942, less than 1941. 41 was like, I mean, the Soviet casualties in 41 were really high. In June, oh my gosh, it was like almost 2 million in June. June alone. Let's see, that's 49 plus 74. What is that? Let's find out. 49 plus 74. It's about like 125. I think it's 123 or 132. Let's see. I think it's 123. Yeah, it's 123. Multiply that by 25,000. You're looking at, 3 million Soviet casualties in 41, plus another 2 million in 42. It's pretty high. So yeah, Soviet army seems to be performing better than they did in 41, but strategically, I mean, the Soviets are still losing. They've lost a lot of territory. They haven't been able to retake any of the territory, which could have definitely kept the German high command off guard. But no, I mean, I haven't been able to retake any lost territory. So he's desperately need to retake territory, and it's like we need to, but like they're so desperately trying to defend Moscow, and they're so locked in on Moscow, right? The Germans are seem to be, I mean, committing just way more mass on Moscow than any other like historical outcome. If we add up how many German units are attacking Moscow right now, I would say like what, 8, 9, 10, 14, 18, 22, 26, about 26 corps, the equivalent of about 26 German corps are attacking Moscow right now. How many troops is that? Let's see. I'm going to take an average here. 22 times 26 times 3.5. I think it's a lot. 2 million German troops right now are attacking Moscow. I'm not sure how large Army Group South was when they attacked Stalingrad, but it was the 6th Army that attacked Stalingrad. It was one German army that attacked Stalingrad. It was a large army to be sure, but I think at any given moment, I mean, the Germans probably had somewhere around 300 to 500,000 troops at any instant attacking the city. Right now, we're attacking Moscow with 4 million. That's literally 4 times more troops attacking Moscow. So no wonder the Germans are making headway. They're committing all their panzer armies pretty much. So yeah, and the Soviets haven't been able to attack anywhere else, which is just blows my mind. So yeah, we had that one opportunity there. We didn't take it. We lost Tula, and like the other positions are collapsing. Once these areas collapse, I think what the Soviets need to recognize is that they need to fall back. If these positions do fall, which they seem like they will, they need to make sure that the next defensive belt is just as strong as the previous one. We can't like have the next belt be weak. It needs to be really strong, just as strong as the previous belt. That's the only thing. That's the only way the Soviets are going to be able to like hold out. It means that we have to like maybe abandon Moscow or put more units in Moscow. Moscow is such an important rail like area. Also, Ryazan, we need to fortify Ryazan, Moscow, and Klin. That's the new defensive position. As the Germans make more headway, the front's actually going to open up. It's like, let the Germans come, let the Germans make more progress. And then we got to hit the flanks, right? We got to attack the flanks. We need to be ready to attack the German flanks in order to, reverse this German progress. And then, of course, in the West, I mean, the Allied landing was very nice. And now, it's kind of a strategic stalemate, but it's taking up German resources, right? And it's occupying German resources right now. And you don't want to underestimate the Allied powers in the West. But it is a priority for the Allies to take North Africa so that they can gain naval supremacy. Once they can do that, that should be a big help. And it's like they still need a larger army to land in the West, right? It's not really until 1944 that we receive a large force pool. So it might be wiser to go for Italy. Italy might be too far. Maybe it's better to go for France. Try to like slug it out with the Germans in the West. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of been a slugfest somewhat. At least Caen was a slugfest. British casualties were quite low. Let me see if I have any data. I think I did on German casualties in 41. I think it was here. Yeah, they suffered like a substantial amount of casualties in Caen, 132,000 casualties, I believe. So, and the British, I don't think the British suffered any losses. I didn't track British casualties. Yeah. I can't believe I didn't track any casualties in France, at least not here. I didn't store them, but it would have been kind of cool to see that, make a comparison from the Battle of France. I would love to continue this game, but I'm thinking like because of the strategic pacing of the game, because the weather is about to change, maybe I simply stop here and save the video for another time. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream here. But yeah, this video will be uploaded to YouTube. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Do take care, fellow wargamers.